All right, welcome to the BCSN SportsWrap, home of mother effing champions. Take that, Tiger Nation, with y'all bad self. That's what we do. Good evening, welcome to another happy Sunday. It's a happy Sunday when the Rattlers win, and that's right, we just won another championship, Drew. We just won another championship.
Now you know they're gonna be saying you hating, right?
I don't give two flips. Hey, I'm a lover, not a hater. But if you want to call me a hater, call me whatever you want to call me. Just call me a winner.
Don't say you hating.
Call me a winner. Call me a winner of an alumni that won a championship. Damn it.
Yeah. Say something about us having to have our women get our get back, though, man.
Hey, women do amazing things, man. The women will lift us up. The women will lift us up. So shout out to the ladies, the Florida A&M University volleyball team, perfection after defeating Jackson State today in the rematch of last year's SWAC volleyball championship game.
That's 3 and 4, Brian.
3 of the last 4 since we've come into the SWAC. 3 of the last 4 titles, and we've been to all 4 championship games. All 4 championship games.
Hey, you know the common theme, right? Of the winning, right?
What's the common theme?
Who played on the 2 championship teams and who are now the assistant coaches on this team?
Winners, champions. SWAC Player of the Year, Dominique Washington, assistant coach. We had the SWAC Coach of the Year, GOATCon, as we call him, Coach GOATCon Yilmaz. And we should have had the Player of the Year, but, you know, the SWAC SIDs and coaches, you know, they look at total statistics instead of averages and stuff like that. So, yeah, you know, it was perfection, Israel. Perfect season. Unbeaten in regular season play, unbeaten in the SWAC tournament. We gave a game away. You know, we won the first 2 sets. Jackson State played an amazing 3rd set. I mean, props to Jackson State for showing the heart of a champion. Look, I'm going to keep it real. You know, you guys think I'm always throwing shade, but no. Heart of a champion. They came out. They played a great 3rd set. They had to keep from being swept. And,
dominated.
They dominated. I mean, it was like what, 25 to 10 or something like that. I mean, it was a great 3rd set. But you know, our team has done that at times throughout the year. But they were not to be denied in the 4th set, as they pretty much got out to an early 6-2, 7-2 lead, and they just rolled that thing on through. It was beautiful to watch, man. The blocking was great. The hitting was great. I mean, Jackson State really is the 2nd best team in the conference. And I say that, hopefully you don't find that shady, but it is. The top 2 teams played, you know. And look, last year they did an amazing job. They rallied from being, I think they were the 4 seed last year, and they beat the 1, 2, and 3 seed last year. So that was a magical season that they had last year. This year, we had the 2 best teams in the regular season, 1 versus 2. But there was a separation. I mean, I'll keep it real. There was 1, and then there was like 2 and everybody else. I mean, 1 took care of business. So that's how it is. But the Rattlers, and it's Rattlers. You know, I don't understand how broadcast professionals can continue to screw up the last name. It's not Rattlers. It's Rattlers. You know, you do a little phonetic pronunciations every now and then, Drew, right? Before you get ready to do a game. I mean, Come on. I need my broadcast professionals out there to get it right. Rattlers. Rattlers. Say it 20 times until it rolls off the tongue. Rattlers.
I'll even take the hood pronunciation, rattlers.
Thank you. All right. I'll take that, rattlers. I'll take that even than what I was hearing tonight, man. Oh my God.
Bryan, at least you didn't graduate from Tuskegee.
Oh man, FAMU, Tuskegee.
FAMU.
I mean, man, I tell you, I need, all of the SIDs should be, whenever you have the SIDs coming to a broadcast.
All corn, all bandy.
Yeah. But Drew, you as an SID, don't you go over to the broadcast people and say, do you need any help with any pronunciations? Like our last name, it's
number one. I have, like on our basketball, but I've only got 2 names, and I've already got them phonetically spelled out for the broadcast. Number one, and if you can't get Morehouse correctly, you don't need to be on the mic. It's just that simple.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank everybody for coming in, watching the BCSN Sports Wrap. You're tuning in. It's a Sunday night. Do me a favor, while you're in early, hit the thumbs up and the like button. We say hello to all of the folks watching us, however you are. You might be watching us on the Jericho Broadcast Network's YouTube page. We are a part of the JBN, Jericho Broadcast Networks. The Black College Sports Network is at MyJBN Online. Hello to folks watching on YouTube, BCSN Sports Wrap, or on the Black College Sports Network Facebook page. Could be also watching us on Instagram and X, so we say hello to you. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. I'll kind of go through the scroll here as we're getting people in. A lot of headline news today, Drew. We got is playoff fever. Playoff fever. Playoffs. That's right. Playoff fever. So, we'll get into talking about the playoffs from the Division II level, a historic day for a pair of Division II schools, Miles College, who was hosting a game today and yesterday.
Yesterday, yes.
Yeah, and Virginia Union, who was also playing a game against the number 2 seed in the region, and both teams come out with dubs. So we'll talk about that game here coming up. Also, for the FCS level, Tennessee State wins a share of the Big South OVC with a 28-21 win, 9 wins, and then they get a berth. Yeah, the reward, Drew.
They get to go to the FCS playoffs.
Yeah, get to go to the FCS playoffs. So, and they will be traveling to Montana to take on the 14 seed Montana Grizzly,
where it will be 28 degrees. The forecast has it at game time on next Saturday.
Yeah,
but the skies will be clear.
Yeah. Yeah. So good stuff. Good stuff. Appreciate everybody coming in early and often. Coming up, I'm going to announce it here early. Coming up any moment, we've got one of our first special guests. Got a pair of special guests coming on. I won't jinx it just in case something comes up. We do have our regular scheduled coach Farasi Norman. Coach Farasi, who's in the chat room, he will be joining us. We might have a couple other surprise coaches joining us too. So I'm not gonna jinx it for the hope that it comes through. Drew, I don't want to get too deep into the con. Well, let's go ahead and start with, just in case, it's a setup and we'll see what happens here. But history was made in Fairfield, Alabama last night as the Miles Golden Bears, fresh off of hosting the SIAC championship and winning that in a dominating fashion, I think, hosted Carson Newman. And the Golden Bears defeat Carson Newman 14-13. Newman is one of those regulars, Drew. How many years have they been? I think I read something like they've been this is like their 10th consecutive year or something like that in the playoffs.
Too damn many.
Right. Definitely. So yeah, they ended up getting the win in their first ever NCAA Division II. Hosting their first ever Division II playoff game because they were a couple years under previous coach Reginald Ruffin, where they did go to the playoffs. And they unfortunately didn't advance. But this time, they get the 14-13 win in the Super Region 2. Miles, who's ranked number 22 in the nation, got their 10th win of the season, which set a school record for wins in a season and extended the single-season school mark with its 10th consecutive victory. How about that, Drew?
That's unbelievable, man.
Yeah. So it was a game that really in going back, and I haven't because obviously I was at the Florida Classic yesterday. I didn't get a chance to watch the game, so I'm gonna get a chance to kind of go back and watch it on the ESPN Plus replay. But it's a game that Miles never trailed. Although there was an early point in the second quarter after Miles scored first, that in the second quarter Carson had tied it up at 7 early in the second quarter, but Miles would end up answering later in the fourth quarter to score and go up 14-7 with 4:09 to play in the second quarter. Carson Newman would end up getting a 43-yard field goal as time expired to end the half, 14-10. They added another field goal early in the fourth quarter, 14-13. And then Drew, late in the ball game, as Miles appeared to be about to run the clock out and salt the game away, ended up fumbling the ball on their the ball was actually covered on the Miles 41. So they coughed it up near midfield with 1:01 to go. And the Miles defense had to step up and save the game as they came through a couple of plays later and get an interception, which sealed the game. Kind of interesting note that Carson Newman had missed about a 50-yard field goal. And I'm going to double check that here because I was just reading the article here, but just kind of going back through the plays here. They had missed about a 50-yard field goal. And obviously when you recover a fumble at the 41, you only really need about maybe 10 to 15 more yards to really get into field goal range. So props to the Miles defense for showing up when they did. And that defense has been stout all year. Drew, what's the big takeaway from the Miles victory?
We got out of there with one, Brian. That's the big takeaway. I mean, it's tough. The playoffs are tough, and I've never coached in it for football, but I have been a part of basketball. I've not been a part of hosting a playoff event, but it's tough. Number one, your students aren't there at the level that you are used to them being, because unlike the regular season when your student activity fees cover your admission if you are a student, unless the administration decides to pick up the tab, then those students have to pay, and they have to pay regular price. NCAA say they want their money, so your normal student section is not there.
How much are tickets? How much are tickets, Drew? Because I heard you talk about this before. I mean, they can't be more than $20, can they?
I mean, I don't know, 20, 25, maybe even $30. But Brian, you're a broke college student. $25 is a lot, man.
I don't know. These kids ain't broke like what we used to be, Drew.
Bro.
I don't know. I think you're selling them short.
You do realize Miles is a private school, right?
What does that mean? I mean, just because you're private, everybody's broke? No,
but it helps. But yeah, that's one of those things that you have to realize, that some of your fans, and then also the fact that while a lot of your fans want to be there and want you to go to the playoffs, especially because it's this time of the year when it's Thanksgiving time, you may not have some of your regular fans there in normal attendance. So, and it showed, Miles' attendance was not what it normally is for a Miles home game. So the atmosphere is different. You definitely lose, in my opinion, you lose the HBCU portion of the home field advantage that we have at the HBCU. And those who have been to HBCU games and non-HBCU games know what I'm talking about.
Well, I don't know the exact I don't know what the stadium seats at Sloan Alumni Stadium. Attendance was 1726 reported, but we can talk to Coach Sam Shade about the impact of hosting and what that experience was like, going from hosting a SIAC championship to the playoffs. As our guest joining the BCSN SportsWrap is none other than the SIAC champion and the SIAC Coach of the Year, Coach Sam Shade. Coach, welcome to the SportsWrap. Congratulations on the win. How you doing tonight?
Doing great, guys. Doing great, man. Bryan, you and AD, man. Hey, I appreciate you guys having me on, and looking forward to talking to you.
All right.
Coach, it's a pleasure to have you on after the big win. I know we're probably, let's see, I'm looking at my watch. We're past the 24-hour rule, so I know all the celebrating is over. And as you coaches like to say, we're on to Valdosta State. But before we get to that, wanted to talk to you about the impact of that game. And as I was just talking about, talk if you can a little bit about what it means to the program, the school, the community to be able to go from hosting the SIAC to hosting the first playoff game and winning the first playoff all at home.
Well, it was huge, not only for our football team, but to Miles College, our student body, our alums, our administration, all our fans in the Birmingham area that might not have attended Miles or be Miles College grads, but just, come out and support Miles College football. It was huge. And especially the historical part of it, being able to, it was the first home playoff game in the history of the school, and also being able to get the first playoff win in the history of the school. Just a huge weekend for everyone that's a part of Miles College and Miles College football.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Drew.
Yeah, and I'm just going off the top of my head. I think this is like the third time in the last 10 years that an SIAC school has hosted a playoff game. But I know Tuskegee hosted back during their runs in the teens, and then of course Benedict hosted a game last year. So it's not like when the SIAC does make it in there, they give them out and we're always hosting. We're always on the road. We're always the at-large team. So for Miles to come from what they did with an 0-2 start to win 9 in a row and to get to that number 4 line, which is where you need to be to host the game, I just want to tell you congratulations, Coach Shade.
Thank you so much, AD. And I'll tell you what, I felt like, especially after winning the SIAC championship game, I thought that our body of work basically put us into that top 4 in our region. You look at one of our 2 losses at the beginning of the season was West Alabama. We go down there, we lose. They kick a field goal at the end of the game to beat us by 1 at their place, and they were the 3 seed in the region, and we ended up the 4 seed. So I felt like the committee got it right. I thought our body of work definitely put us in position for that, and it was special. It was special.
Yeah. Now, what I want to talk about, and I've said this the last couple of weeks, this is like the first time pretty much all year that Miles has been relatively healthy with with most of your number 1s actually playing. Your number 2s, who are quality number 2s, got more reps than probably anticipated due to injuries this year. So going through that, having a lot of your original number ones back and healthy, along with the reps that your number twos got in number one slots. How good is that for you? How well does that prepare you to make a run against a team like a Valdosta State, in which we know that game is going to be physical?
Well, I'll just say this: we still have some guys that, when we went into the West Alabama game, that was starters that are not with us. We lost a defensive tackle in that game, Javante Cooper, really good player. Hadn't had him since the West Alabama game. We lost a good receiver, an all-conference kick returner, and one of our unsung heroes, Jalen Peterson, broken forearm in the Benedict game. And we actually were without one of our starting safeties, Donshay Gaither, number 45. He had 2 interceptions in the Tuskegee game. We were without him. We've just gotten used to not being as healthy as we want to be. And this time of year, you get to the end of the season, you're going to have some nicks and bruises, and you're going to be without some guys. But you're right about one thing. I feel like it did help us having to play a lot of guys early in the season because of injuries. We were able to get some of our young guys some very beneficial reps that have really played off. So now you look out there, and it doesn't bother me like it bothered me. We were playing Alabama State, and I looked out there at one point, and we had 5 true freshmen out there. They didn't start the game, but they were out there playing at some point in the game. But now I see those guys out there. I tell them, hey, you're not a freshman anymore, man, because you played 10 games. That's a season. So you're really like a sophomore. But I do think it's going to benefit us going into the Valdosta game that we've got so many guys that have gotten reps. And, one of the things about when you get into the playoffs, the Division II playoffs, you can only dress 58 players for that game. So we feel like we've got some guys out of that 58. Everybody's going to play. Everybody's going to have to play, especially going down to South Georgia and playing a Valdosta team that's undefeated, well coached by Tremaine Jackson, who I've gotten to know over the past few years. A really good football coach, does a great job across the board with his players and staff. So we're going to need all 58, and so it did benefit us, the injuries that we had and having to play some of those young guys.
Now, a lot of people know, obviously, that you played in the NFL and had a decent career in the NFL. What a lot of people don't know, like me who lived in Alabama, is that you were a fairly successful high school coach in the state of Alabama. Also, I believe you're at Pinson, one of the schools that you were at.
Pinson Valley. I was actually the head coach there for 2 years before I took the job here at Miles. We had a pretty good run. We were able to win a state championship in the 6A classification here.
It's a pretty good run there, Coach.
Yeah, the second year we got knocked out in the third round, and but like I said, we had a pretty good run. But I actually had coached college ball. Some people don't realize that I actually, coached college ball for a long time. I was at Sanford for 8 years here in Birmingham as an assistant. I was at Georgia State over in Atlanta after that. And then I spent a year with the Cleveland Browns as an assistant special teams coach. So I feel like I've definitely I've coached at pretty much every level except for Little League ball, because I got my start. I coached middle school for 2 years when I first got into coaching. So I feel like all those experiences have really helped me as a coach. And so when I'm trying to hire coaches, there's certain things I look for that maybe another coach might not look for.
Right. And before I turn it over to Bryan, my friend Antoine Bell said hello. He said you played with his played Little League ball with his brother, and he remembers you when you was out there playing for the Tiny Tots while his brother was playing on one of the other teams. I talked to him last night, man. So
oh man, that's I know the Bell family pretty well. My older brother knows Antoine pretty well.
Yeah. Go ahead, Bryan.
That's going back right there. Coach, you mentioned the 58 players, and just so I didn't know this, and just maybe so people can know, what is that compared to during a normal regular season game?
Well, actually, in the SIAC, the way that it works in the SIAC, when you go on the road, you can only dress 58 players for a conference away game. So actually, we're fine with that. It doesn't change anything for us, when you go on the road. But the good thing is they only get to dress 58. But in the SIAC, for instance, if we have a home game, we can dress 75, and the away team can only dress 58. But the good thing about the playoffs is they only get to dress 58, which is I think that helps us a little bit, especially against a team like Valdosta, who's got a lot of – they've got some competitive advantages as far as the way they can do things with scholarships and those things. For instance, AD, I know you're probably familiar with the Hope scholarships and things like that over in Georgia.
Right.
And so that does kind of, I feel like, give them a little bit of an edge as far as being able to have maybe a few more really good players sometimes than maybe we can have, because, we've got our 36 scholarships, but we don't have a lot of situations where we can get a kid and he's got a scholarship from the state of Alabama because of, say, the lottery or something like that, because we don't have the lottery in Alabama.
Always interesting when you kind of break down those small little competitive advantages that are kind of ingrained within the various states. Let me go back to the Carson Newman game. Now, that Carson Newman is a name that those of us who have been paying attention to Division II playoffs, we've heard a lot. They've kind of been in the region almost, many years. It feels like almost every year, and they ran a triple option. I don't recall too many teams in the SIC running a triple option. And so how did your team deal with being prepared for that particular style yesterday?
Well, first off, my hat goes off to our defensive staff. Coach Chris Shellen, our defense coordinator, Coach Ronald McKinnon, our linebacker coach, Coach Antonio Langham, our defensive back coach, and Coach Eric Phillips, our D-line coach, because we basically had 1 week to prepare for option, and that's tough. I mean, that is really hard. I know when I was an assistant coach at Sanford, for instance, we would play 2-3 option teams a year, and it was hard enough. We would spend half of spring practice on it. We would spend some time in training camp, and then the week before we played an option team, we would spend time on them. So for us to get ready in 1 week, I thought it was a really impressive job by our defensive staff. Not only staff, but our players. Because our players had to play a different game than what we've been playing. We've got these really good D linemen, pass rushers, edge rushers, guys like Jermichael Rogers at DN, all conference guy, Rock Dowdell, and those guys are used to getting upfield and all that stuff, but you've got to play more discipline. And against option, you get too far up the field, the ball's going to be going by you. So, those guys really bought into what the coaching staff was teaching this past week, and we found a way to limit those guys at Carson Newman.
And one last thing about that game, obviously you didn't trail this game at all, even though there was a period where it was tied. And as you're going into that fourth quarter on that final offensive possession, you're running the ball, you're seemingly milking the clock down to try to get out of there. Young man fumbles, and you got a whole new ball game. What's your thought process? Whatever you can share in that moment, those emotions, and how everyone just kind of was able to focus on the moment and stay composed after seemingly one of those disappointing moments where you're thinking, oh my goodness, we're so close.
Well, like you said, actually, I just got done watching the game film and watching some Valdosta film, but on the game film, it was just a situation where our running back, he really, it was just one of those times he was wanting to get the ball and get vertical with it as quick as he could, and he just kind of missed the step, in that, and the way we teach our handoffs, he was kind of in a hurry and just didn't get the ball the way that we teach him to get it. And unfortunately, the ball got on the ground. And I was just thinking, man, we got to find a way to stop these guys. That's literally what I was thinking. And also, they had a really good field goal kicker coming into the game. He made 2, and he missed. The third one that he missed actually was like a 50-yarder. So I kind of felt like they got the ball about, I think it was the 40-yard line, 42, and didn't want them to get inside the 30 right there. They were out of timeouts, so we felt like they were going to have to put the ball in the air, which they did. And we were fortunate to have one of our guys make a play right there, Malachi Ogden, one of our defensive backs who actually was out for quite a while during the season. He is one of the guys. He was out for about 4 weeks, and we got him back for the Tuskegee game. He wasn't all the way healthy, but he felt a lot better this past game. So he made a play for us.
Nice job. Well, I mean, props to all those young men, especially the defense, to be able to take up the challenge, and to step up in that moment. Looking forward to Valdosta State. You said you've looked at the film, or at least started to look at the film. What's your initial thoughts? Obviously, it's a long way to go, so I know you're not going to give too much of the game plan away. But just what are the things that, when you look at Valdosta State, what impresses you about them? What kind of things are you initially thinking? Okay, we got to pay attention to this, be ready for this. Your thoughts about Valdosta State?
Well, they've got a great mix of what you look for in players. For instance, up front on both sides of the ball, they've got size. They've got big guys that are athletic, strong, and they can move people on both sides of the ball. And then at the skill positions, they're athletic, they're fast. They've got some talented guys, offensively and defensively. For instance, their running backs. Running backs and linebackers, but their linebackers are very athletic and can run. They'll probably be the most athletic group of linebackers we played against this year. Just watching those guys run, and so that's what jumps out at you first is just their people. But then when you watch them play, they don't give up a lot of big plays on defense. Like I said, I think Coach Jackson does a great job as far as his guys aren't going to beat themselves. They're going to be where they're supposed to be. And, if you make plays on them, it's going to be because maybe one of your guys just happened to make a great one-on-one play, whether it's a running back making somebody miss or whether it's a receiver running a really good route and a good throw, that type of stuff. They make you earn it. You look at some of the scores, they've outscored people. They've scored a lot of points this year. And defensively, they've really held people to a low amount of points. So we got our work cut out for us on both sides of the ball and also on special teams.
And to echo what you're saying, Valdosta is scoring 43 points a game and only giving up 9 points a game compared to you guys who are scoring right at 30 points a game and giving up 17 points a game. But looking at the stats, Coach, the thing that sticks out to me is they're running for over 200 yards per game compared to the 168 that you guys run. So obviously this is going to be one of those games. It looks like it's going to be a physical game. It's going to be in the trenches, and it's going to be one of the games when you drive down the interstate and people won't pass on the left in that particular game. We're going to stay in the slow lane, both teams. But how do you slow that down? You got to cut that 200 in half to have a chance to win, Coach.
Well, I will say this, you take the Carson Newman game out, which is an option team. We feel like since the bye week, we fared pretty well against most running games that we faced. Obviously, we feel like this will probably be the best group we'll face this year as far as guys running the ball. So we feel like if we just do the things we've been doing and just trust each other and be where you're supposed to be, that we'll have a chance to maybe limit that percentage, well, that average that they've been getting to. But we do understand that they're gonna make some plays. That's football. They're gonna make some plays, and there are gonna be some times in the game where we're gonna face some adversity, and we just gotta stand up. But we feel like we're taking a really good group defensively over there, so it should be a really good challenge.
Yeah. Now, I probably shouldn't ask you this question, but I've got to ask you this question. There's an opportunity for something historic to happen, and I'm going to say when you guys pull off the upset, and Virginia Union pulls off the upset next week for these two HBCUs to play in what essentially would be a Division II national championship game. What would something like that historic be for us as HBCUs, man? I just got to ask because people are already inquiring about it.
Well, I thought yesterday was huge for the two HBCUs that were in the playoffs to win. I thought that was huge. So obviously, if what you're saying happens,
do it again, Coach. That's what he's saying. He's saying do it again.
Don't say he got his half. So
well, all I'll say is this. I'll just say this to you. You look at the stats from yesterday's game, and actually, Carson Newman they did outgain us in total yards, but we won the turnover battle. We made a couple plays on special teams, things like that, and we were able to find a way to win the game by 1 point. And so for myself, I'm looking at this Valdosta game. If we can go down there and somehow find a way to win, and even if it's by 1 point, it'll be like winning the Super Bowl. So that's the way we look at it. We just take them one at a time, and we're just trying to find a way to win. We're not a style points team. We're not looking for style points. We don't have to throw for 300-400 yards. We don't have to outscore them by 20 or 30. We're just trying to find ways to win the game.
Brian, that was a long way to say Coach is not going to take my bait.
Yeah, no. One week at a time, Drew. 1 week at a time. All right, let me wrap it up with Coach with this. I'm just doing a little mileage check here from Birmingham to Valdosta. 5 hours, 24 minutes.
It's 6 hours on that bus, Brian.
All right. Well, I know the bus. I know the bus could take a little longer. I'm talking to fans. I'm talking to the fans in the Birmingham Fairfield area, Coach. Let the people in the know what they need to do to get. That the kickoff is what is it 2:00 or is it noon, Drew? So
kickoff is actually 1 p.m. Eastern and 12 noon Central Time down in Valdosta, Georgia.
Okay, so that means the Golden Bear Nation folks need to get up at sunrise and just get on the road. Drew, you want to what kind of crowd are you hoping to get? What kind of crowd do you want? It's a nice stadium. There's plenty of bleachers on that visiting side for Miles, those Mile fans, Coach.
And I will say this, having been to games at Valdosta, having lived out in that area, Miles could easily have more fans in the stands than Valdosta State if the Miles faithful get on the road, because Valdosta State, despite all their success, does not draw as well as you would think at home. So you could very easily have a home field advantage, Coach, should your fans decide to get on the road.
Well, you know what, AD? I'm looking at it like this. I got a lot of family and friends over in that Atlanta area that are going to drive down 75, man, go 75 south.
3.5.
They're going to be there. So we got a lot of Miles alums over in Atlanta, man. They need to hit the road driving down. We've got folks in Montgomery and Montgomery, Mobile that need to come over and check us out. It's a holiday weekend, and it'll be awesome, man, to have those stands filled. As a matter of fact, weather-wise, it's going to be pretty good because you're talking about South Georgia. No rain in the forecast. And I'm looking for a big crowd. I really am. And I like it for our student athletes because we talk about all the time that these guys are stepping in the arena. And it takes a special person. Everybody can't do it. Everybody can't step in that arena on a football field in front of a packed house and go out there and perform to the best of his abilities under different conditions and things like that and adversity. And those are things we talk about. And our guys have really, really you look at our season. I mean, we played 3 teams for their homecomings, really big crowds, and our guys weren't bothered at all. They like the stage, so that's just one of those things. I was like that as a player. So hey, maybe that's something our players take from myself and some of our coaches on our coaching staff.
All right. Well, again, want to encourage everyone down in the area there in the Alabama area, just the state of Alabama. Go and invade Georgia. Just invade Valdosta State on Saturday, and that'd be a wonderful sight to see all that purple and gold over there rooting you guys on. Coach, any final words or any final thoughts you want to share as we want to give you the last word here tonight?
Well, I just want to say that, man, we really appreciate guys like yourselves and shows like the Black College Sports Network, and the SportsWrap. We really just appreciate you guys, the coverage that you've given, obviously not only us, but all the HBCUs for this entire season, man. It's really great. Our players and our fans, they watch. They love being able to obviously see their coach or their players on shows like this. And so I just want to say, during this holiday season, and I'm thankful for shows like what you guys have, because you give us a stage, a platform, and it doesn't go unnoticed or unappreciated. So thank you guys.
We appreciate you, Coach. We
appreciate that, Coach. Appreciate that a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Sam Shea and Miles College Golden Bears, taking on Valdosta State in the semifinals of the Region II NCAA Division II playoffs. Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central at Valdosta State. If you can't make it, you can always watch it on ESPN Plus, but we encourage you, if you are in the area or if you're in the Alabama area, go on over and see a great football game. I guarantee it will be. Coach, have a great week. Happy Thanksgiving to you, your family, your staff, the players, and we look forward to seeing you guys on Saturday.
All right, same to you guys, and safe travel if you get out to some games during this holiday season.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Appreciate you, Coach.
All right.
Appreciate you. All right. Awesome stuff there. Awesome stuff. Awesome having Coach Sam Shade on there.
I will say there are a lot of nice hotels, decent hotels right there in Lowndes County and Valdosta for those who are wanting to travel up the day before or even stay over the day afterwards. Plenty of hotel, decently priced restaurants.
They don't jack up the hotel rates, do they, in that area, Drew, for Valdosta State home games?
It's a holiday weekend. There's really no telling. Plus, let's be real, they're used to Valdosta State being in the playoffs. Okay. So they may jack them up, but you can easily go 20, 30 miles down the road and find something if they jack them up too much.
Right. Okay.
Other thing, it's ironic that the football team is going to play Valdosta State at Valdosta State. If you remember back in the spring, the women's basketball team who won the SIAC also played Valdosta State in the playoffs.
All right. Good stuff. Well, let's take our first break. We're a little bit over. When we come back on the other side of the break, there's one school that has already made a decision about their coaching future. Might not be who you think it is, or maybe it is. Some of you guys in the chat room already know. But if you're watching, we'll tell you about the school and who that coach is, and they are planning to go in a different direction. Hang in there as we continue on our playoff fever edition of the BCSN SportsWrap right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back in just a minute right here on the Black College Sports Network.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him.
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up message quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
This is Brian Fulford. A.D. Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN SportsWrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN SportsWrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show. All right, welcome back to the BCSN Sports Wrap. Bryan A.D. here. Hot off the presses. Got to give a shout out to those ladies right there. Champions of the Southwestern Athletic Conference for the not 1, not 2, but 3rd year in the last 4. The 19-0. Unbeaten, untied, perfection. That's what it looks like, ladies and gentlemen, when you go perfect. 19 up, 19 down. Kill it. Operation Get Our Rings Back is done. Congratulations to Coach Yilmaz, A.D. Suggs, the coaching staff, and those lovely ladies for getting it done. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, well, as we mentioned out of the break, one particular school has already decided what they want to do. Fresh off the press from the Prairie View A&M University website, PVAMU football to move in new direction with national search. Prairie View A&M announced today that head football coach Leonard McDowell's contract will not be renewed. McDowell has served as the Panthers head coach since 2002. Athletic director Anton Goff thanked McDowell for his leadership and mentoring of its university student athletes over the past 3 seasons, stating Coach McDowell's commitment to helping our student athletes succeed in life, both personally and professionally, is admirable and a true reflection of his character. Moving forward, Goff said the university's priority will be identifying a head coach who has the vision and leadership skills to move the program into the upper echelon of SWAC and FCS football. Prairie View will begin a national search for its next head football coach immediately. Assistant coach Ashton Green will assume head coaching duties in the interim. Well, Drew, what do you think of the quick decision by Prairie View to put this out there?
I think it's a good thing. I really do think it's a good thing. If you know that you're not going to offer the man a contract, he's at the end of the contract. It's not like you're firing him.
Right.
Go ahead and begin the process. Make it known. There's this unwritten rule that a lot of coaches have. I'm not going to talk to you about a job while somebody still has that job.
Mhm.
Now you can start those conversations tomorrow if they haven't already started this afternoon.
Right. And just again, a point of clarification: Bubba McDowell was not terminated. It is not a termination. He served he had a 3-year contract.
And he served his contract.
Yeah, he completed the terms of the contract. And of course, in 2022, when he came in, replacing who I forgot already. Who did Bubba McDowell replace?
Dooley.
Okay, yeah, Dooley. 6-5 in the first year. A season that ended with a loss to Mississippi Valley State. Then in 23, they actually ended up winning the West Division. They finished 6-6.
They backdoored into the West Division.
Okay, I mean,
make sure everybody understands
the semantics of all that, Drew. Look, they won it. Nobody's going to remember 20 years from now that they backdoored their win because they ended up losing in the championship game. So that's why no one will remember how they got there. But they did end up losing in the championship game last season to Florida A&M. And then this year they finished the season 5-7. Prairie View ended up losing 2 of their after the win against FAMU to be the first school to defeat FAMU, not named Jackson State. They ended up losing to Alcorn 26-13, and then lost last night or yesterday to Alabama State 9-6. I wonder, Drew,
that was hard to watch.
Huh?
That was hard to watch.
Well, here's my thought. They lost at home. And again, this is after winning the game at FAMU at home. Then you lose senior night at Prairie View, and then you lose on the road. I wonder if those 2 games had been won, are we looking at a different outcome? Because at that point, they're 7-5, and they still aren't playing for a SWAC championship, but at least you're not ending your season for the 3rd consecutive year with a loss, which I think that kind of stuff matters. I think, Drew, don't you think? I think losing at the end of the season kind of just leaves that nasty taste in your mouth, like you ate some onions and you just don't have any mouthwash and that, it just kind of stays with you.
It may lead the average fan to, thoughts high, but from an administrative point of view, you're mediocre. You're average. 75 is one game above the Mendoza line. Mm-hmm. So when you evaluate it, take the Western Division title out, you have been average.
Yeah.
If your program is happy with average, then you give him a no contract.
Yeah.
If you want to be in that upper third of the SWAC, which means, let's do the math, there are 12 teams in the SWAC, Bryan. Upper third is top 4. That means you need to be finishing 1 or 2 in the Western Division every year to be in the upper third. If that is your case and you're consistently there, boy, I sound like Wheeler Brown right now. Lord Jesus.
I wasn't gonna say anything. I was just gonna let you write that out.
Hey, shout out to Coach Wheeler Brown of the Carlos Brown show. But he's absolutely right, though.
Yeah, exactly, man.
But it really depends on what the goals of your president and your athletic director are. And let's keep in mind, what tends to happen when a new athletic director comes in and a current coach's contract expires.
Yeah.
Unless you're a lifer, unless you're a Buddy Pugh type person, or even recently as a Willie Simmons type person, you're gently time to go. Kind of like when your kids get 18 and they graduate from high school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you ain't moved out yet. I was on my own at 18. You know,
Yeah.
you start giving those type of hints.
Yeah. I wanted to just I was trying to look and see the last couple of years, and where the program has been. I don't know. It take me too long to pull it up here in terms of where the program has been. I guess coaching candidates.
Too early, Brian. Too early.
Oh, never too early, Drew. Come on, Drew. You don't want to take the you throwing bait questions out there to Coach Shade. I should be able to throw a bait question out there and say, who's on the short list of candidates? I know a couple of names out there that are already being tossed around in these circles.
Oh, okay. Let me hear your names.
First name I'd have to throw out there is Fred McNair. I
figured that was going to be the top of your list. But Fred McNair in Texas does not sound sexy.
No.
Does
not. How about our own Coach Farasi? Coach Farasi Norman. I'm gonna throw Coach Farasi in the mix. Why not? Hell. Yeah. I know he wants to get back in. Coach wants to get back in.
Look. Can we just go ahead and tell everybody?
What's that?
Every coaching search that comes up, when you get the short list from the BCSN SportsWrap, it's gonna have Coach Farasi's name on it. Just go ahead, just put that out there. Our list is gonna have Coach Farasi's name on there. But
here's an interesting name. Jermaine Jackson.
Would a former Texas Southern grad return to the rival?
Well, he's got Texas. Or maybe I would assume he's got Texas ties.
Right, but the fact that he played at Texas Southern, coached at Texas Southern, just makes it interesting dynamic. You know, would he do a Dr. Cavill and go to the other school? Except go the other direction.
Look at you. That's great.
But here's the thing, Brian. When have you seen the SWAC hire a Division II coach, no matter how good that Division II coach is? Not in recent times. That's why I would scratch. Although I think he's a viable candidate, I would have to scratch Jermaine Jackson off of the list just because of that.
But here's what I would say: if I were in the room as a booster or someone important in the Prairie View A&M circles, you know who I would say about that Division II to Division I jump? Hello, Chinnis Berry. Hello. That's the first name I would throw out there.
What was that in the SWAC?
I don't care. I'm saying that.
That was 30 years ago.
But my point is, if Chinnis Berry can make the jump, right? I would say that don't disregard someone at a Division II who has proven that A, they know how to win. 2, they know how to coach and build a program. Because I think that's what Prairie View is going to need. You're going to need somebody that can excite the fan base in a way that it hasn't been excited in, dare I say, what's this 15 years? I don't what is 15 years? 15 years is the last time you were excited? Is that what that was?
I think that was the reference to the last time a D2 coach may have been hired in the SWAC.
Well, I would say, when was the last time Prairie View was excited? When were Prairie View fans excited about their football season? You know, I've listened to the 1876 Sports and Culture podcast. Shout out to Joe and Mike Washington and them. I've listened to them, and sometimes I get a chuckle because I listen to their angst, and it sounds a lot like my guys on Wednesday and the angst that we have in Rattler Nation sometimes. So there is a desire to win. But the problem, I think, and again, I don't claim to be deep in the weeds to know, but I know when you haven't tasted the sweet nectar of winning a championship, I know you got to sometimes do something different, Drew. And I think if the recycle of SWAC coaches and not hiring somebody outside of Division I has been working, why not do something different? I'm just saying, just throwing it out there. So we'll be interested to see. We're not going to speculate on. It's still too early, even though a lot of regular seasons are over. There's still some teams that are playing, and we'll see if there'll be. And this will be an interesting week because I think it'll be interesting to see if there are any other schools or any other teams or programs that make similar announcements. And if it's not, this would be a hard time to do that. It's like this Thanksgiving weekend, firing people during Thanksgiving. Memo to all these schools: wait until after Thanksgiving.
No, Brian.
No. Okay.
No, because you want to get started on the search.
Okay.
Because coaches get away. Coaches get away, Brian. Now, here's the question I have for you: do you think PV would go after another person with NFL ties?
Oh boy, here we go with that.
I mean, Bubba wasn't like a household name, but he was a successful.
But he was already in the program, wasn't he? Bubba was on staff.
I didn't say Ed Reed, no coach experience NFL guy.
Okay.
I'm just saying, would you go after a former NFL guy?
Sure.
Somebody who has experience, but
if he has experience and he has coached, I say why not? I don't think, here's the thing about the whole NFL to coaching thing, and I think it got a bad rap. I think coach. Look, let me say this, and I hope I can say this without stirring the pot here. There is a difference between Eddie George and Deion Sanders, Ed Reed, and I don't know. Give me another name.
there's no name to compare to Ed Reed, bro.
Bubba McDowell. I mean, I'm talking. You got two of those names were guys who had coached within college or high school football, right? Two other guys really hadn't. So I think what you have found is, I think the commitment by look, at the end of the day, it comes down to the commitment by the university to help surround. What Eddie George has done at Tennessee State is a slow build. I mean, this is year number 4 for Eddie George.
Yeah.
Year number 4. And it goes to show that if you have patience and you and you build it the right way, and Coach Eddie George has slowly been building it, right? He's been building it where, he took some lumps. He had a couple of average seasons. He had to figure out the OVC, had to get the recruiting up. And this year he goes into year, he finally, I think, got a good quality quarterback. I think that was the first thing because if you look at the 2 previous years, they had some quality players in some skill position areas at Tennessee State. They just didn't have the quarterback like Draylon Ellis. And I think Draylon Ellis made the difference this year for Tennessee State. And, they finally put it together. They won the games that, we kind of wondered whether they would lose or, that they might in the past have given away. And, they're moving on. They're going to the playoffs. That it's a big time. So
last thing I've got on this, Brian.
Yeah.
We saw last year, not one, but 2 teams in the SWAC fumbled the ball when it came to the coaching hire. And we know the 2 schools that I hope you know the 2 schools that I'm talking about. And one of them was in the state of Texas.
Wait a minute. Say that again. What was that? I missed it. I was reading something. Go ahead.
2 schools fumbled the ball when it came to their coaching hire. And I'm not talking about the person who they hire, but the process.
Okay.
I just want to see a clean process.
Yeah.
I want to see a process. It is 5 days before Thanksgiving. We should not be talking about this after Christmas. Who is going to be the next head coach at Prairie View A&M? let's get this done, which is also part of the reason why it's smart to go ahead and do this now, Bryan. Let's get this done. People only going to be on campus for the next 2-3 weeks. Most people are going to be going off campus after the second Friday in December. So whatever you're going to do, whatever interviews you're going to do, whatever board approvals you need, let's see if we can get all this done before everybody heads off campus. This hire, if all goes right, and I don't know the process at Prairie View, but your goal is to have this done before the Celebration Bowl.
All right. Moving over to some other news. Tennessee State, as previously just mentioned, returning to the FCS playoffs for the first time since 2013. The Tigers are going to travel to Montana to take on the Montana Grizzlies on Saturday at, how about this time, Drew? 10:15 Eastern Time, 9:15 Central, 8:15 Mountain Time on ESPN2. So that means we have to stay up super late to watch Tennessee State here. I don't know how that's gonna affect the time clocks. The Tigers' last FCS appearance came in 2013 when they defeated Butler 31-0 in the opening round before falling to Eastern Illinois 51-10 in the second round. This season marks the 25th anniversary of TSU's last OVC championship season in 1999, when the Tigers won 11 games and went undefeated in conference play. Of course, this year, the Tigers finished the regular season 9-3 and 6-2 in conference, and ended up in a 4-way tie after defeating Southeast Missouri 28-21 yesterday on senior night. They finished in a tie. I know SEMO finished 6-2.
Tennessee Martin
and Western Illinois?
There was one other team. It may have been West Illinois, but 3 of the 4 got in.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. 3 of those 4 did get into the field, the playoffs. And unfortunately, as we sort of predicted a little bit this morning on Doc's show, odd team out was North Carolina Central. North Carolina Central did not make it in. We
were not part of the first 4 out either.
Not for part of the first 4 out. So it kind of goes to the thought that they just didn't have enough FCS wins to play it out. And obviously the one FCS loss that they had was to Elon early in the season. But because they only played an 11-game schedule, they didn't have the 12. And this is the crazy thing, Drew. This is one of those years where teams could play 12 games, right? You could play 12. And for whatever reasons, I don't know how it didn't work out, or maybe there was a 12th game that was scheduled and it got canceled somehow. But, if Central had or were able to schedule a 12th game
against the FCS.
Against an FCS team, right? Sure. If they were able to have scheduled a 12th game and won that, it could have greatly benefited them. And so it's kind of interesting, where TSU played a 12-game schedule. Did they play a 12-game schedule? Hold on, I was just looking at their schedule. Let me make sure before I run off here at the mouth here. Yeah, they played a 12-game schedule, 9-3.
South Carolina State was the team that only played 11.
Huh?
South Carolina State was the MEAC team that only played 11. Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. So North Carolina Central did play 12 games?
Correct.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. Okay, so bite my tongue there. See, there I go. And they went, what was their final record then? Hold on, are you sure?
No, I'm incorrect. Carolina Central played 11. They were 4-1 in conference, 8-3 overall.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's okay. I thought I was right. But South Carolina State also only played an 8-3 schedule as well.
9-2.
Yeah, 9-2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but my point is that 12th game would have been important. And so I guess the next year is also a year in which teams can play 12. And if I'm North Carolina Central's athletic director, Coach Oliver, North Carolina Central opens the season in the MEAC SWAC. They open in a week 0 game against Southern, I believe. I'm trying to schedule 12. You got to schedule 12, and we know that you I don't know if I go look at the future schedules for North Carolina Central. I don't know what their non-conference is already looking like for next season. Let me see. Going on here and looking at 2025. Okay, so already non-conference games for North Carolina Central next year. Obviously, again, opening up with Southern. They play New Hampshire at home, at Old Dominion. I think Old Dominion is an FBS these days. And then at North Carolina A&T. That would leave 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me see, 4 plus the 5. So according to FBSschedules.com for next year, it looks like Central has at least 2 to 3 open spots. Again, if Central goes with a 12-game schedule, then they're going to be looking to fill 3 spots. And so, yeah, definitely appreciate that, Lawrence. So I'm gonna say it here out loud. I think should I do it, Drew? Should I really throw it out there of who I think Central should really look to play in the future?
I'm listening.
I really would love to see, and I think it would be a big benefit, and I think there might be room. A Florida A&M North Carolina Central game next year would be really, really interesting. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not even going to tell you where I think it makes sense to play that game, but I think next season it's available for both teams. I think FAMU has an open spot right now in the schedule. But anyway, I'm telling you, Central would benefit to play 12 games.
You say who, Brian? Who should they play next year?
Florida A&M. Florida A&M has an opening, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. Inside information. That's all I'm gonna say. Read between the lines. Also a CIAA opponent.
Oh no, I don't want to see a CIAA opponent for them.
But that's right. That's the only Division II.
Well, I don't mind playing
I'll just say this.
Opponent.
I'll just say this.
12 games. If you're going to get 12 games, play a CIAA opponent. But you got to get 12 games, Central. You got to get 12, Central. You got to get 12. Look, we ain't scared of y'all. Come on, Eagle Nation. We're not scared of y'all. Don't forget, we used to run y'all in the MEAC, right? Don't get us started. Don't get me started up in here. We used to run y'all when we used to be in the MEAC. So, pump the brakes. I'm just saying it'd be good for both teams.
Central currently has 1 game available. And
wait a minute, say that again.
They currently have 1 game available. They have 11 right now. They can add a 12th game, and they've got 3 open dates right now.
Who's the who are the non-conference that you see there?
I'll just give them to you by levels.
I was gonna say, because whatever you're looking at is different than what I'm looking at.
Yeah. Let's see. There's. Give me the ones that you have again.
What?
The ones that you have.
So,
well, you know, A&T is on the schedule.
Right. So again, this is not me. This is according to FBSschedules.com. They have the Southern game, which is the MEAC SWAC Challenge.
Correct.
They also play New Hampshire, and right now that says scheduled for the 30th of August. So that would be week 1.
Right.
Then they have at Old Dominion on September 6th. That would be week 2.
Mm-hmm.
A&T at North Carolina A&T would be September 20th. That is week 4.
Correct.
That's all they have on the schedule.
Okay. There's another SWAC school and a CIAA school on their schedule.
Another SWAC school and a CIAA
school.
Is the CIAA school like Winston-Salem State?
I mean, you got like 5 of them in state that they can. I'm just saying.
Fayetteville State.
It's
Fayetteville State. Now, that would be an interesting game.
It's a CIAA school in state. It's in-state CIAA.
Okay, so that means it's either Winston-Salem State, Fayetteville. Well, that's right. There's 5 of them. Jesus.
Exactly.
I just thought about that. That's all. Man, that could be anybody.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of them that they could pick from. And another SWAC school on their schedule.
Another SWAC school. Ooh, that's interesting.
I can't give out.
Am I able to get? Do you know already, or am I able to guess?
No, I know, but I can't publicly say.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just leave it at that. I know since
but they do have one open date. They do have one date to fill.
Okay. Well, now the question that I saw a lot of people say it's hard scheduling 7 non-conference games. Well, I know it's hard scheduling 7 non-conference games, but I'll tell you, the challenge that what you have to look at is, again, why did Central miss the playoffs? Because this is a good North Carolina Central team. No shade. There are 4 really good HBCU teams, and I will admit to, and I will say it here before everybody, that Florida A&M is not one of the top 4 teams. They just haven't played consistent enough to be in the top 4. Maybe number 5, but not 4. Okay, so the 4 top teams, man, wouldn't it be great if we had a playoff? But anyway, the 4 top teams: South Carolina State, Jackson State, Tennessee State, North Carolina Central. Those are the 4, right? And the only thing I think that's separated and missed and is going to miss is that Central had one game. They needed an extra game on the schedule. They needed an extra game. I don't know how to say that. Yeah.
Brian, we already got a playoff.
We do playoffs.
I mean, Central South Carolina State was a playoff game. You knew the loser was going to be out and the winner was going to go in. You've got the other round, which is going to be played in 2 weeks when Southern plays Jackson State. It would be the same thing that we already doing.
Let's flip it for a second, Drew. Flip it.
Without the crossover.
If Central had won that game against South Carolina State, do you think South Carolina State would have gotten into the playoffs? All things played out as they were. If that was the only game, and let's say Central won that game 20, let's say they got a late touchdown, ended up winning 27 or 28-24.
I need to look at Central's schedule. Central's non-division. They play 1 Division II, which is Fort Valley, which was a good Fort Valley team versus a Virginia Lynchburg, who is everybody's prom date. And then their FCS game that they played, it was Georgia Southern. So I say South Carolina State had a better resume than Central, which would have increased the chances. South Carolina State at least makes the first 4 out if they don't make it in. North Carolina Central didn't even make it to the first 4 out.
Okay. A lot of people seem to disagree, thinking that South Carolina State would be out. It's interesting. How many FCS wins would South Carolina State have? How many do they have or had?
South Carolina State is currently, they are 9-2. So that one loss was to Georgia Southern, and one loss was to Florida A&M. So they would have 1 loss, and then their win over Valley, they would be 8-1. They would be 8-1, bro. Where they would be 8-2 if they would have lost to Central. They would have been 8. They would have been 7-2. Excuse me. They would have been 7-2 had they lost to Central.
Well, so they might be in a similar boat.
A 12th game would have. We would have been.
See, there's my point. 12th game would have been. So see,
South Carolina State would have been closer to getting in than Central was.
But the big picture, I think, is the importance of playing the 12th game against an FCS opponent.
And I haven't pulled up the FCS playoffs, but I'm really would be curious to see if any of those teams only played 11 games, or if you're only going to play 11, all 11 need to be FCS games.
All right, let's take a look at it. Coming back here on the other side of the break, because I think the brackets. Let me see. Is this final? Yeah, I'm looking at the site now. I don't know if they've got the records in there though. I don't know. I'm a fan for playing 12 in a season when you have 12. When you have the opportunity to play 12, I think you got to find a way to play 12. I know that's challenging, not saying it's easy, but I think it makes sense to do it. All right, quickly want to make mention of the fact that in some of the scores from around the SWAC after week 13. The Soul Bowl completely dominated by Jackson State, 48-10. Had already previously mentioned the Alabama State 9-6 win against Prairie View. Was that all field goals?
I didn't see it. I couldn't stomach it. Honestly, I was more interested in the Tennessee State game when I finally was able to turn it on to see if Tennessee State will get the victory over SEMO.
All right. Alabama A&M 49-35 over Valley. Again, well, hold on. Let me say this. FAMU 41-38 over Bethune. Texas Southern 31-23 over UAPB. Jackson State finishes 10-2. 12 games, 10 wins. Just saying. Well, technically 9 because y'all played VUL. But anyway, don't get me started. Or no, you played Lane, not VUL. Lane, VUL. I don't know. That's all.
I at least they D2. No. At least they give out.
Right, they're NCAA. Right. So no, but 10 wins is still good. 10 wins, and most importantly, you went unbeaten in the SWAC division. Fourth consecutive year that the team that won the SWAC East ends up winning. How about this? Ooh, how about this parallel?
All right.
In the 4 years that FAMU has been in the SWAC, when Jackson State wins the football division,
FAMU wins volleyball.
And then when the opposite happens,
FAMU wins football.
Jackson State wins volleyball. Ooh,
that's a good one.
So Jackson State should win to keep this going. Jackson State should win the SWAC championship. So I asked this question earlier. What is the point spread going to be against Southern? I'm going to say 10 points, Drew. I'm going to say it's 10. I would start it at 10 and a half even.
Interesting. No, I can't comment on that, but I think that's.
I'm sorry, that's right. You can't comment. Okay, but anybody else out there want to comment? If I set the line at Jackson State minus 10 and a half, are you giving the points? Are you giving up those 10 points, Jackson State? I mean, they beat them 33-15 last time.
Yeah. Bryan, I want to go back to one last thing before we go to this break on the FCS schedule. I don't know if you remember, Bryan, but I noted at the beginning of the season, there were only 2 HBCUs that played an entire FCS schedule.
Yep. You did.
One was Valley.
Yep.
The other was Tennessee State. And let's think about this logically. How do you allow Mississippi Valley, UAPB, and Lindenwood on your schedule, knowing that they're going to bring your conference, your strength of schedule down if you don't go out and get that extra game? Tennessee State proved the point. Let's go to break.
Right. Let's go to break. Coming up on the other side of the break, we got a championship coach that's going to join our show. Coming up on the other side.
Coach Norman, we're going to have to bump you for a few minutes. Just
yeah. We're going to come up and talk to Dr. Alvin Parker of Virginia Union coming up here on the other side. So get locked in and be ready here as we talk to Coach Parker here coming up or on the other side of the break. So hang tight with us. You're watching the BCSN SportsWrap right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back in just a very few short moments.
Looking for the ultimate cultural experience of 2025? The Zora Outdoor Festival of the Arts is where you need to be. From January 31st to February 2nd, Eatonville, Florida will come alive with incredible live performances from the Levert Experience and Sunshine Anderson. Immerse yourself in interactive art. Take a journey through history with a new virtual tour app that brings Eatonville's legacy to life from your phone. Enjoy family-friendly STEM activities and explore over 80 unique vendors. Please don't miss the unforgettable R&B tribute to the legends. This is more than a festival. It's a celebration of Eatonville's rich cultural heritage. Visit zorafestival.org for tickets or to become a vendor. We'll see you in Eatonville, the oldest Black incorporated municipality in the country.
All right, welcome back to the BCSN SportsWrap. Bryan and A.D. here, and joining us is the head coach of the Virginia Union Panthers, Dr. Alvin Parker. Coach, congratulations, Coach. How you doing tonight? Thanks for joining the show.
I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys for inviting me on, man. And look, we're excited, but we trying to go get another one.
Man, Coach, yes, indeed, Panthers make history last night or yesterday afternoon with the win over the second seed Wingate University, the first NCAA Division II playoff game won in the 125-year history of the football program with a 34-31 overtime victory. Coach, I know we're past the 24-hour rule. You know, you guys, you coaches live in the 24-hour rule, so we're past that. But if you can rewind the clock just a little bit, what is it when you hear all of that? What does that mean? What kind of emotions and thoughts does it bring up about how historic the last 36 hours have been?
Yeah, well, I tell the guys we live in the 12-hour rule, but I took the whole 24 for this one. You know, I made sure I took the whole 24 for this one because it was something special. You know, something again that's never happened. You know, and we've had a bunch of great football teams here. You know, but you know, you look back, and I think I showed the guys one day this week, and we look back at all of the playoff games and how they had kind of came out. I think it was 13 of them. You know, and you see the likes of Virginia Union losing to Troy, to North Alabama, to North Dakota State, teams that aren't even in Division II anymore. You know, that are so far gone from Division II. You know, that's how far back this thing stretches, the people they were playing. You know, but you know, out of all of that, all those great teams, you know, nobody can ever come out of it with a victory. You know, so it's something that was kind of, you know, haunting around here. You know, I'm glad we got a chance to break the curse, so to speak. But you know, and we had to go to overtime to do it. So they made us definitely earn it all the way. But and I was extremely proud of the guys, extremely proud of the coaches. It was a proud day for Panther football and for Virginia Union.
I'm intrigued about the fact that you went. Some coaches might avoid that in talking about that history, and for fear of maybe jinxing it, but you embrace that. Why? Where did that come from, or when did you kind of make that decision to kind of embrace, or I wouldn't say embrace, but acknowledge that history and challenge your guys to be the first?
I guess because I was a part of it. Two of those losses, I was a coach. So I ain't have to go back too far for it. So situation that one of the two that I had while I was the head coach, and there was another 10 along or 11 along with that. So and I'm a researcher by nature, so I like to look stuff up and kind of have it, and then when I kind of seen it and kind of seeing all the teams that Virginia Union had lost to along those 13 tries, it just was extremely interesting. And some of them were close, and some of them were far, and but I think the guys needed to see that, to not necessarily run away from the expectations, like you said, embrace it, run towards it, put ourselves in a position where we can kind of get it done. So they looked at it, and I think a lot of them were amazed because you look back at some of those games, they wasn't even born, and when NCAA became a part of the NCAA from the NAIA, you kind of seen that, how that started along with them guys making the playoffs in the early 80s all the way through. So, and again, it was a bunch of good teams, some undefeated teams, some teams that, had won back-to-back conference titles, kind of some of the things that were similar to what we've done, but in a sense, just, knowing kind of what it is. And I told the guys, let's go make history.
Go ahead, Drew.
All right, Coach. Second consecutive year that you got into the playoffs. So my question is, what lessons did you learn from last year that you were able to make the adjustments to prepare for this year? That's question number one. And number two, did the fact that you had to play Virginia State in back-to-back weeks also help with your preparation for this game, with just the mindset of having to face the same opponent 2 consecutive weeks?
Our third consecutive time making the playoffs. We made it 22, we made it again 23, we made it here. I think more so, we got a rematch with the team we played in 22. So rematch with Wingate, and they came up here and they jumped all over us. And I never wanted to have that feeling again, and a lot of the guys that were on that team, and now they're seniors. So I think, a lot of times it comes with just, age and kind of go through it. I think when you get to playoffs and you end up losing or not coming out the way you want, a lot of times those things are not really losses. They're more lessons because you're in the elite part of the season. Only 28 teams get invited. So, you're in elite company, and I told the guys now, I'm meeting earlier today, I say it's only 15 other teams that's playing football right now in Division II, so we're definitely in elite company right now, so that definitely helped. But ours was extremely tough AD this year. I thought the CIAA played some damn good ball. For lack of better words, I'm sorry, but some great ball. And, from top to bottom, we had a bunch of good teams. I think the coaches kind of rose to the occasion this year and special things with their teams this year. So just the whole gamut of kind of going through it during the season was something that was good. Of course, playing a team tough as Virginia State in back-to-back weeks, sometimes when you go in back-to-back weeks, you got to dig in your toolbox to make sure you kind of come out with something that's kind of different. Of course, for the coaches to be and perform at a certain level too. So I think that was something for us as well. But, it's the overall season. I think going through after we lost earlier in the season, every game was kind of a win or go home type of situation for us, we felt like. So it wasn't a week off that we could have had. It wasn't a situation that we felt like, hey, this won't count as much. This one won't be this. I think every game kind of, was a high stakes type of game.
All right. All right. And I just got to say this for full disclosure. I hate not being able to be a part of your weekly press conference. Obviously, due to where I work at now,
Absolutely.
I don't think that would be ethical for me to be a part of the weekly press conference. I mean, I've been on his press conferences for like the last 3 years. He always sends me a personal invitation.
You get the message first. I personally send yours because I want to get it. Look here, man. I understand. Make sure that don't mess that check up.
Oh hell no, I can't do that not unless I got a job up in Virginia Union waiting on me. But anyway, now I know you don't like to give out individual accolades to your players, but we've got to talk about this. Jada Byers, Harlan Hill nominations were due this week, and that's actually one of the advantages I have now. I do have a vote for not only for regional teams, but for the Harlan Hill, and I still got to cast my votes. I got to fill out my nominations tonight because they're due at like 1 o'clock in the morning. Yep. But I need you right now. Make your case for Jada Byers, Harlan Hill. Go for it, Coach.
I mean, and I think I've said this before, but if the award is for the best football player in Division II, I don't know how much of a case I have to make. I mean, he's the best football player in Division II. I don't really have to compare him to anybody in any other division because they can't win the Harlan. But in terms of just being able and being a complete back and being able to kind of change a game and do some of the stuff that he does, and this is not just a show up in 2024 and do it. He's been doing this since he's been here, with the amount of yards that he's had from scrimmage and all of that in 4 years. His name is going to be forever in the record books. So if that award is truly for the best college football player in Division II, then the numbers don't lie. If anybody's seen us play, if anybody's seen him play, they know what it is. I think his sophomore year he was a finalist. I think he was about fourth in the voting. And he had a huge year that year. But I think more often than not, people kind of recognize you by just the yards, and things like that. But his impact is great. Sometimes him just being on the field makes a difference. And I think the last 2 years you attach champion onto that. You attach playoffs on to that. That right there, speaks his case because not only is he getting his numbers, but he's willing to team to those type of places, championship and playoffs.
All right. And as much as we talk about Jada Byers on your offense, you also got a quarterback that's doing some pretty good things for y'all. So Mark Wright, just kind of talk about him and anybody else on that side of the ball before we flip to the other side of the ball.
Well, Mark Wright, special one from right down there in Atlanta. He's the first quarterback I've had in my 24 years that has led the nation in pass efficiency. That's the category. Most people might look at passing yards or passing other things like that and all that. But our biggest stat around here is passing efficiency, and it was something that we wanted to make sure we got better at last year. And I think we went from maybe 60th in the country to second in the country right now behind Harding. And Harding run the ball every down, so in a sense like that. So as far as how much we throw the ball and the success that we have when we do throw the ball, this is the highest I've been ranked in my career. Mark Wright leads the nation in pass efficiency. So I think that's the best stat you can have for a quarterback.
Yeah. And on the defensive side, you've got names like Shamar Graham and William Davis and a couple other guys over there. And those guys are going to have to step up big this week as you got a tough opponent there in Lenore Ryan. So just talk about those guys on the defensive side of the ball.
You're correct. Guys are definitely going to have to step up this week and make some plays. Shamar Graham, definitely a catalyst for us, led us in tackles. This is his third straight year leading us in tackles. And I'm going to say this, and I don't know how people are going to take it, but, he led us. This is the third straight year he led us in tackles. He's been all conference both years that he led us in tackles. This year he led us in tackles again, and he wasn't named all conference. That was kind of a head scratcher.
Shamar Graham fatigue.
Yeah, so just a head scratcher. but numbers are what they are. Will Davis is a special one for us over there. He does a lot of things. Isaac Anderson is a great one for us over there. We have some good guys at the corner spots with Jalen Mayo and Raylan Manley, guys over there that's doing a lot of good work. So it's a lot of guys over there. Them guys know they got to step up to the occasion this weekend. So we can put ourselves in a great position to win.
Go ahead, Bryan.
Coach, I was thinking of this as Drew was talking and you were talking about Jada Byers, and we know he had on the day that he broke the record single season career touchdown. And you've seen a lot of great players, been a part of being a part of this history. I don't know if I want to go so far and ask you, is Jada Byers the best player to ever wear? So I will ask you, is he top 3 in the history of Virginia Union football? I'm not going to ask you if he's the best, because that you might have some former teammates or some alums that give you a call. So I'm not going to ask you if he's the best. So I'm going to say, is he top 3?
He can't mess up them checks, Bryan, so he going to answer this very carefully.
Oh, you want me to say top 5? Is he top 5 at least?
And I don't care who listens, because they seen us play. They know, without a shadow of a doubt, his name's definitely belong up there in the Raptors. In terms of one of the greats that come through here. Virginia Union has always kind of called themselves running back U, because we've had a ton of good running backs to come through here. And for him to be and put up the numbers he's had and done the things that he's done, all of those running backs can look at it and probably say, you know what, he's probably the best. He broke Andre Braxton's record, and I played with Andre.
Okay.
So, and when that record was set 20 plus years ago, I thought, you know what, this record is going to stand the test of time. But I didn't know 24, 25 years ago it was going to be somebody named Jada Byers. And when he came through, he shattered him. He didn't just break him, he shattered him. And he got some more he adding to that. I think he can put his records where they're going to be untouchable. So the numbers say he's definitely the best. So I don't have to say a whole lot. Just go off the numbers.
All right. So this upcoming, so with the nature of how the playoffs worked, where you guys knock off the 2 seed, and by nature of the 3 seed losing, you're actually hosting this game this weekend.
No,
am I correct on that? Am I wrong on that?
We're on the road.
Oh, you are on the road? I thought I read somewhere that you guys were hosting. Okay.
Yeah, it was kind of up in between, but we're going to be on the road.
Okay.
We're going to be on the road. We thought we thought we should have had a home game, but we'll be on the road.
Okay, we'll just leave it. We'll leave it at that. So, moving. Okay, so but the
moving off
opponent.
this subject.
Yeah. Well, I'll leave it at that. So
we'll be on the road.
Yeah,
y'all can call me offline though.
I got you. Okay. So Virginia. So everyone knows, Virginia Union traveling to Lenoir and Ryan. But Lenoir and Ryan, one of those programs that you guys have starting to make a name for yourself in the D2 playoffs. They've made a name for themselves over the last decade. I'm sure you've already started watching a little bit about them. What's 1 or 2 things that you see or that you anticipate being a challenge for your team this upcoming Saturday?
I think, in college football, it's hard to beat teams that are used to winning. And that's the big thing. And those guys made it to the Final Four last year. So they're definitely used to winning. There's a lot of guys on that team that, have a lot of playoff pedigree and a lot of championship pedigree. So, in a sense, they've been here before. So, we getting used to this. Although we've been to the playoffs quite a few times in the history of Virginia Union and a few times during my tenure. The first time we ever get one, them guys, won multiple ones, so it's hard to beat teams that are used to winning, that are used to being here. But, and they're a good ball club, they do a lot of things well, you look at them on film and you just, it's no different than any other team. Everybody at this point is going to be good. Everybody at this point is going to have a very few amount of flaws. So you look at them like that. But I think the same with our ball club. I think we're a good ball club. I think we're a well coached ball club. I think we do a lot of things good. So and at this point in the season, you can focus on other stuff and other people a lot of the times, but you got to make sure you're your best. And I think that's the key. We got to make sure we're our best selves when we go into the playoffs because you're not gonna get to the party and try to dance with a different girl. You're gonna dance with the girl you brought. So we want to make sure we just buttoned up and we're ready to go come Saturday.
Nice. Go ahead, Drew.
I'm not gonna ask the same question that I asked Coach Shade when he was on here, at least not in the same manner, because we know you coaches like to only like to focus on the next game. But I'll say it out loud, but you don't have to say anything. Everybody who's a D2 football fan is looking for both of you guys to pull off the upset so that you guys can play each other in 2 weeks. But I want to ask this in this way, and I know you're a historian, so let's look at yesterday. The fact that not one but two HBCUs were able to get a victory in the D2 playoffs. Just talk about the historical nature of that, especially considering you were half of those two that I'm talking about, your portion in that role.
It's monumental. And you hate to kind of get into it and make it a HBCU thing versus that, but that's the scope of it, and it's just keeping it real. A lot of people don't give us the chances to win. So I was happy to see what Coach Shade Ball Club did yesterday, and I was happy to see what my ball club did yesterday because sometimes people compartmentalize you and make you, you're HBCU coach. You have an HBCU team. We're college football coaches. And I think we got a chance to prove that to the nation yesterday that, we coach just as good as anybody else. Our teams play just as good as anybody else. When given opportunities, you'll kind of see that. So, again, I was happy for HBCU football yesterday, for what we were able to accomplish on the Division II level because I think it was something that needed to kind of be shown.
All right. And going on this, CIAA had a historic season. For lack of a better word, we saw the rise of the South, although two northern teams were in the championship game. So I got to ask you this: do you think the CIAA should have got the second team in?
Absolutely. I'm
not going to ask you to name that team, but I just want to make sure that
definitely should have got the good level of football that CIAA played this year was definitely deserving of two teams. I think we did well out of conference, and that was something in the past years that had not been done. So that was kind of something that kind of that dark cloud that kind of hung over our head because we didn't play well out of conference. But I think the out of conference record this year was above 70%. And I think that's
been 6-0 against the SIAC.
So that right there just kind of spoke volumes about the level of competition that we have in this league. So I think definitely we should have got two teams and but again I think I go back and say this everybody else is playing 11 regular season games and we're playing 10 regular season games. I think playing the extra regular season game will help a little bit because you got to take all excuses away. Say everybody else is playing 11, CIAA is playing 10 in the conference championship. We need to find a way to do that. To just take away every excuse. That they won't let us in the playoffs with multiple teams. So if something that simple can be done, I like to see that done. And kind of like I said, to check every box and to make sure that going forward, it don't happen again when we have this many, 8, 7, 9 win ball clubs that just don't get a chance to compete in the postseason.
So I've got to ask the follow up on that. So, do you think something like maybe a quote unquote consolation game on a Friday night for CIAA or a CIAA SIAC crossover where the first team out in the CIAA and the first team out the SIAC have an opportunity to cross over to see if they can get that last spot. Would either one of those options work, or do you think maybe something different?
I think this year, Drew, that would would have been the perfect scenario. That'd been the perfect scenario. Maybe both teams number 3s go, because now that we both play without divisions, you take the number 3 team, because the number 3 team will probably essentially have 7 or 8 wins, and if you can get to 8 or 9 wins, that's going to be something that's going to be pretty daggone special. But I think next year it won't help, because with us moving to Region 1 and moving out of Region 2, it'll be an out of region game, so that you start to play that game, and you might end up losing on that front, by not getting the points for playing the in region game. This year it would have been an in region game, so I think you maybe have to find a way that the SIACs 3 and 4 can play against each other, and the CIAA's 3 and 4 can play against each other, and like you said, like a consolation type match to give somebody an extra win, to have somebody get an extra boost, come playoff time.
Can I ask, Coach? You mentioned the move into Region 1 for next year? Is that all? Have you already? I don't know when you start looking at scheduling for next season, but does it already start entering the thought process? And again, I apologize if you're obviously, I know your focus is this upcoming week, but has the thought process of saying, okay, we got to change our non-conference to maybe kind of mix in a game or two against a Region 1 opponent, even though I know you guys have rivalries that you have with schools in the Virginia or maybe even the North Carolina area?
You definitely have to look at that. You got to start looking at it now. But scheduling happens, maybe for Division II, maybe about 2 years out, a year out at the latest. And it takes you out of some of those things, like those classics that we need those funds. We rely on that. A lot of the smaller HBCUs, even the bigger HBCUs, rely on the classic money. And the classic money want to see 2 HBCUs play against one another. In terms of getting that done, it might pull you out of region. It might pull you to where you have to play somebody, a CIAA and now SIAC team might have to play each other, which will pit Region 1 against Region 2. So it's different things like that you really got to weigh in on, and kind of think. But, I love the part of HBCU football that brings the rivalries together. I think that's important. I think that's extremely important, for the alums, for the students, to kind of see that, and kind of get the feel of that. And, who want to turn down the opportunity that could put you in, to play in an NFL stadium, to play against another HBCU, and still better get your school a big payday, get a bunch of fans that see you play and all of that. Nobody's turning that down. I wouldn't, so, like you said, it's important, Bryan. And I think it's still something that we got to make sure we look at and hold dear, because it's something that, everybody wants to see. So it's different. It's funny. And it's just, you got to find a way to make sure you mix it in and get it all done and be able to kind of get it where you can kind of, check boxes on both ends. So, we've been pretty strategic in how we schedule and how we've done things. And, we'll see how we kind of move that going forward as we move to Region 1. Right.
All right. Well, Coach, just kind of doing a little mileage tracker here. Not by bus, but for fans, it's a 4-hour and 23-minute ride from Richmond down to Hickory, North Carolina. What do you I know it's the holiday weekend, but what do you want to see from Panther Nation, the Virginia Union faithful in the region? What do you want to see? What are you hoping the caravan is like on Friday night or Saturday heading to Hickory?
Well, we showed out down Wingate this past weekend, so we get anything close to that, I'll be pretty daggone happy, to get something to that nature. And I think most people be off on Friday. Don't do that Black Friday shopping. Plan to be down Hickory, North Carolina. So I think that we got a great group of following, and everybody love to see us play, and we love to have them there. like I said, I looked to our sideline one time and I didn't see a seat left over there.
Nice.
And we were the visiting team, so I was extremely excited about that, man. And hopefully, like I say, everybody having this long weekend, this coming weekend, I hope they can get on the road and come check us out.
Nice.
I'm going to say this. Considering that a majority of the CIAA institutions are based in North Carolina, I need them to put their rivalry aside for this one weekend and the CIAA to show up once again in North Carolina and support the Virginia Union Panthers. You lost to them during the regular season. Now it's time to support the conference. CIAA. It's too many CIAA schools in the conference. Come on out and support the conference.
There you go. Well said, Drew. Well said. Coach, I want to give you the last word here. Anything you want to say, any shout outs, anybody you want to, talk to, give you the last word. And again, we appreciate you coming on the show tonight.
I mean, just shout out to Panther Nation, man, for supporting us all the way through. Shout out to my squad and everybody that's kind of involved in the program that make it go. A lot of moving parts when you're moving around, 100 plus guys and you kind of getting it done, a certain way, like I feel like we are, but it takes a lot of working parts. A lot of people, play the part with me to get this thing done. So just kind of shout out to all my assistant coaches, administrators, definitely the players, everybody from the president down to the young ladies that put water together for us on the sideline. Everybody that's involved in the program. Just thank you.
All right.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Coach. Again, congratulations to you, the staff, the players on the win, and also want to again wish you guys a great Thanksgiving week. We just appreciate you coming on the show tonight, and safe travels down to Hickory, North Carolina. And everyone will be watching. Are we, Drew or Coach? Are we also what is that, a 1 p.m. kickoff as well?
Yep.
All right, 1 p.m. Eastern, ESPN Plus. It's a great 2 TV setup, folks. 2 TVs. You got to have one. So put somebody on the TV, somebody on the phone. If you don't have a 2 TV setup or the iPad, laptop, whatever you got to use, and just plug away and watch both games on Saturday. That's the best way to do it, right?
And I'm gonna give you a call offline, Coach. I'm really interested to hear that story. Once we get done with the pod tonight, I'm gonna give you a call within the hour.
All right, Coach.
All right.
We appreciate you. Have a great Thanksgiving week, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Again, Dr. Alvin Parker. Good stuff. Ooh. Drew's gonna find out on T. Look great. Be ready to watch Dr. Camille's show on Tuesday.
I didn't say I was gonna let the information out. I just want to know the story.
All right, good stuff. Good stuff.
You know how we have to do it, man.
Well, hopefully the HBCU media diaspora will be on point and do some investigative journalism, whatever. Let's find out what's going on. But anyway, so both games. That is Virginia Union at Lenoir-Rhyne Saturday, 1 p.m., as well as Miles at Valdosta State, 1 p.m. Both games are 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central Time. So it should be good games on ESPN Plus, worth watching.
So we've had 2 championship coaches on here so far today, Brian. I think it's time to get our next future championship coach on.
Well said. Well said. Coming up after the break, Coach Farasi Norman will help close down the show with us here as you're watching the BCSN SportsWrap right here on the Black College Sports Network. We will be back in just a moment.
HBCU football fans, a champion will rise at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on December 14th. MEAC champions, SWAC champions, the Cricket Celebration Bowl, crowning an HBCU national champion. For event and ticket information, visit thecelebrationbowl.com.
This is Brian Fulford. A.D. Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN SportsWrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN SportsWrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
Looking for the ultimate cultural experience of 2025? The Zora Outdoor Festival of the Arts is where you need to be. From January 31st to February 2nd, Eatonville, Florida will come alive with incredible live performances from the Levert Experience and the Bar. Immerse yourself in interactive art. Shop from over 80 vendors. Take a journey through history with a new virtual tour. And enjoy family-friendly STEM activities. Plus, don't miss the unforgettable R&B tribute to the legends, honoring talents such as Whitney Houston, Marvin Gaye, and Luther Vandross. This is more than a festival. It's a celebration of Eatonville's rich cultural heritage. Visit zorafestival.org for tickets.
ESPN Band of the Year returns to Atlanta on December 13th. 4 marching bands will qualify for the big stage, where 2 national champions will be crowned. Follow us on social media for rankings updates throughout the season. And join us at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on December 13th. For event and ticket information, visit bandoftheyear.com.
Hello, my name is Farasi Norman, and I'm looking to become your next head football coach. I'm a proud graduate of Langston University and HBCU, and I'm looking to become a head football coach at HBCU. I have 23 years of coaching experience, 10 as a head football coach, all small college, D2, D3, NAIA, junior college, college prep. I've built programs from the ground up. I believe in preaching, academics, discipline, structure, hard work. There's no substitute for any of them. I've been selected head coach in 2 National High School All-American games, 2 National High School Junior College All-American games. I won all my games. Now remember, you only get 3 days to set up for these games. Wednesday, you play on Saturday. I've won all my games. I recruit all over the country very well. Canada, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana, Texas, Mexico, Hawaii, Samoa, Tonga. I bring in athletes from all over the country. We become one. If you're looking for a head coach that knows how to win, look at me. If you're looking for a head coach that's going to bring a fresh air to your program, look at me. If you're looking for a coach that can be a leader in the community, look at me. I'll bring you that championship. I recruit good student athletes. I'm very tough on my program. Those who don't believe in my program, we get rid of. Those who believe in us, we make champions. If you're looking for a head coach, remember the name, Farasi Norman. Thank you.
All right, welcome back to the BCSN Sports Wrap. Bryan and A.D here, and joining us is none other than our coach, Coach Farasi Norman. Coach, how you doing tonight? Good to see you.
Hey, man, thank you both for that. I mean, I'm ecstatic right now. I tell you, I'm only 5'8", but I'm feeling 7 feet tall. Drew, hey, I want to let everybody know that was A.D.'s Drew's idea. He called me this time last year when I was living in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Don't let the cat out the bag, Coach.
I need you to do this for me. And I says, hey, buddy, let's get it done. He's been a great inspiration for me. And everybody knows Bryan Fulford is one who brought me to the table. Now, I want to say something really quickly. Shout out to both of those coaches, championship coaches, and wish them best of luck this weekend. And I hope that we can finally get us an HBCU champion. We deserve one. And I got no doubt one of those two will bring it home for us. Earlier in the show, you guys said you gave me some pub for the Prairie View A&M job. Hey, thank both of you. I appreciate that. There's not a job out there that's open or will open that I'm not ready for. I told you I'm ready for that head football coach job. I've been doing this 23 years. I'm more than qualified. I can lead. So once again, I thank both of you for standing behind me. Anything else you guys want to say to me today? I know you guys got me on a little later today. I'm good. I'm hungry. But hey, once again, I appreciate everything you do for me. And Drew, thanks for being a friend.
Appreciate you, Coach. Appreciate you, Coach. And as you can see in the chats, people already got all the places that you should be applying for even though there's only one job open at this point in time.
Don't forget, there's 3 at the small school. There's Lane, there's Elizabeth City, and there's Central State. They're open. But I got a team, and my team says no. I said, okay, I got to listen to my team, but those 3 are open too.
Well, Coach, this is the time of the year where after week 13, pretty much 90% of the league or 90% of the schools in the diaspora their season's over. Officially. Some might have been early a little sooner than others unofficially, but there's only really a handful of games still left.
Time out, Brian. Sonic Boom, you wrong for that one.
Hey, I didn't want to say that. I was like, God.
I didn't hear you.
What happened to innocent until proven guilty? We just threw that out the window? Innocent until proven guilty. You know how they do us anyway.
That's funny.
I'm sorry, Brian.
That's all right. That was funny. That's funny. But my question had to do with the end of the season procedures. What does that look like? Let's go from the returning. Obviously, you just finished the season, and minus the coaches who are on expiring contracts. For everybody else, what does this week, these next 2 weeks, the week of Thanksgiving, the week after Thanksgiving, obviously unless you're playing still, what does it look like for the coaches and how they try to organize things for the future?
Recruiting never stops, BF. It's a year-round deal, especially now you got this new portal and everybody jumping in, jumping out real quickly. So you're going to have 10 or 12 meetings with your coaches about recruiting, areas, assignments, who's bringing kids on campus, who's showing who around. You get a couple pretty ladies that's associated with the program, not necessarily, but she likes the football team, so she brings Farasi Norman and she walks them around. This is a gym, this is sports, this is a dorm, things of that sort, and everything, how you get enticed, things of that sort. So it's all about recruiting, and then you find out who wants to be with you. Now, contracts are up now. Me and you may have a difference, but you're a hell of a coach. And if you can fall in line and understand what I'm doing, I'm the head coach, and this is the way we're going, then I'm going to go to my AD and say, I would like to resign this guy. But if you say, hey, Coach Norman, I've already been looking. I got something better. No problem. If I can't pay you what it's worth, everybody's got to, I think, like I told Drew and you guys, I think I'm the only single coach out there. It's just me and 3 bags. When I move, it's just me. That's why I can move from here to here. I just me and 3 bags. So my coach may have a family. He say, hey, Coach, I can't do this on this much money, but I've been offered by these guys here, and then I have to shake his hand, give him a hug, and say, hey, man, thank you for everything you've done for me. And I got to find me some more coaches. Finding coaches ain't hard. Everybody wants to try to help young kids. It's all about the head coach, make sure you get the right fit. But to answer your question, BF, hopefully I did. Right now, it's all about recruiting, brother. Filling in, trying to get freshmen, junior colleges, college preps. Everybody's going after the portal kids, and there's good talent in the portal. But, some people like my man at Norfolk, he likes to go from freshman up. Me, I like to just sit on what excuse me, I know I'm talking fast. I like to assess the situation and see what do I need. Do I need help right now at the O-line? Then I got to go to the Porter Junior College. If I got 8 or 9 big fellas, then I'm going to go give me some freshmen and let them grow up. Same thing with any other position right there. But it's all about recruiting right now from now till this time next year. No one ever stops talking about recruiting. It's recruiting. And then once again, Coach, are you interested in coming back? Or head case may not like that guy. Hey, Frosty, we've had several arguments, so it's best that you just move on. And I say, hey, Coach, thank you for your time. And I've been in those situations and everything like that. Please, I've been in on both sides of the ball where I've had to let coaches go and coaches had to let me go. It's, once again, I'll tell you real quickly, if you don't know anything about coaching, if you've never been fired, you ain't never did no coaching. And if you've been a head coach and you ain't never fired nobody, you ain't did no coaching. It's part of the game. You can't take it personal. You got to let water run down your back and keep moving forward because it happens, and everything like that. But it's all about recruiting right now at BF till, and don't stop. Recruiting don't stop. Those are the major meetings, recruiting, and do you plan to come back and be a part of my staff?
And when you talk about, okay, so you're recruiting, how much recruiting of current players? In today's age with the portal, I got to imagine you're doing maybe a little internal recruiting as well, along with, obviously you have the guys who have run out of eligibility, so you know how many spots you have to fill there. But you're also thinking about who's going to jump, who's going to stay. Is that also something that's happening?
Well, you got to look at your budget. You know, the NILs now are killing. College athletic. Me personally, that's another story in itself. But you got to look at your budget, how much money you got, because kids nowadays they want that bag. Hey, coach, for me to come back, I got to have this, and you know, it ain't like it used to be where you just had to maintain that 2.5 or 2.3 to be eligible and come on back. Now you got to have that bag. But yeah, you recruit within yourself, and you just ask them, hey, who's happy here? Who's unhappy here? And you let them know, hey, this ain't personal, fellas. I understand. You got to take care of your family. Some of you may have wives, girlfriends. Some of you may have babies. But if you're unhappy here, please let me know. That way I can start to, get ready to replace that individual. Now, if you like to come back, I'd love for you to come back. But if it's time for you to move on, shake his hand, give him a hug, say, hey, thank you for what you did for me. You got to let him go. But yeah, you always want to find out internal who's first. But once again, that bag is what everybody's looking for. In the last 3 years, I've yet to meet a kid coming out of high school going towards college and ain't talking about NIL deal. It's like, what happened to the scholarship? What happened to the dorms? What happened to the travel? What happened to the classics? What happened to the fraternities, joining the Greeks? And that's out the door. It's about the bag. The bag. And it's sad, but that's where it's at these days.
Good point.
So, Coach, let me ask you this. Your exit interview with your student athletes, kind of take us through, what do you go through when you do your exit interviews? And a lot of fans may not even understand that there's always an exit interview with your players after the season. An exit interview does not mean that player is walking out of the door. That's just a term that we use in the industry, just a meeting at the end of the season. Just kind of a wrap up of the season, almost like you get your annual evaluation on your job. So kind of go through what you go through with your exit interviews.
If he's redshirting, I look at him and say, make sure you came to all your practices, you hit your weights, you got better, you got faster, you got stronger, you understand the offense, defense. Hey, good job, congratulations. You'll have a chance to compete for the 2 deep in the spring. If he's a returning starter, I'll let him know, hey, although you're a returning starter, my job is to continue winning, so I'm going to open up the job. Nothing against you. If you want it, please come back and get it. Make sure that they're doing well in their classroom. Make sure they're keeping their GPAs up. Make sure they're going to tutoring. Make sure they're just being good people. And make sure that, you understand that, this is who I am as a coach. Do you like hanging out with Coach Norman? Do you feel like you can still play for me? Because a lot of times kids just hold their mouth and they grit and they say, well, Coach, I don't really want to be here because you're tough on us and you're rough and, you don't let us breathe and everything like that. Because I tell you, I run a strict type program. Now, I'm not Hitler or nothing like that, but I run an all hands on ship. So, he may want to say, no, Coach, I want to go elsewhere. And once again, like I say, you shake his hand, give him a hug and say, hey, man, thanks for what you did for me. But for those who want to come back, you say, okay, first thing we're going to do is start getting ready to get in the weight room, heal up, get bigger, fast, strong, get ready for spring. But those exit interviews, they're real simple. They're not 15, 20 minutes. They're 5 to 7 minutes. First of all, hey, how do you like it here? Are you okay? How are you doing in school? Do you understand what we're doing? Offense, defense, special teams. Are you comfortable with coming back and being a part of what I'm teaching and teaching? He says yes. You shake his hand. You say, okay, let's get ready for next year. Hey, I'm depending on you. Hey, I'm depending on you. And say, yes, sir, coach. And walk off. Because every kid wants their coach to look him in the eye and say, I'm depending on you. There's just something special about that. And you guys know your coaches, when you look that kid in his eye, and you've been athletes, when that coach looks you in the eye and said, hey, I'm depending on you. Yes, sir, coach. And you just smile with you walk down the hallway with a smile like, coach depending on me. And I tell all my boys that, there's no secret to it. I love them all. And everybody knows I favor O-linemen. Now, favor means, I don't let them get away with nothing. No. Favor means, yeah, I might make a couple hamburgers extra or make some spaghetti or take them out to ice cream, something like that, because I love the big boys. I'm an O-line coach. But those are the exit interviews, dude. They're 5 to 7 minutes. They're real quick. And they're to the point. I don't babysit. I told you that since I first met you. I'm not going to run behind you. Hey, A.D., what's wrong? You don't want to stay and play? Talk to me. No. Hey, coach, I want to go. That's fine. Thanks for coming out. Bryan, how you feeling? Coach, I love it here. I want to come back. My man, hey, I'm depending on you. Let's get ready for the offseason. That's the exit interview.
Coach, we've always, and I know we've my guy Johnny Thornton had kind of asked, are you open to the coaching jobs besides the head coaching position? I know you're hungry to get back in, and head coaching is something that's in your bag. It's something that you have done, and you're interested in leading a program. But just to continue to put it out there, you're not opposed to working as a coordinator or even a position coach, correct?
No, I'm not. Let's go back to the coordinator position. Now, I wanted to say this real quickly because people have hit me up on X. I still say Twitter. People have hit me up on X and, hey, coach, this may be looking for OC or they may be looking for OC. And I tell people, if I have to get back in, you guys, because, I've been knocking on this door for 2 years and you guys have been helping me. So if I have to come through the door as an OC, special teams, or DC to prove to everybody I am who I say I am, I can coach, I can bring people together, I can build something great, I got no problem with that. The prize is to wear that hat that says head football coach at the HBCU level. So if I have to come in as a coordinator first, hey, I'm fine. My goal is to get in. Because I tell you this, I'm better in a classroom on a football field than I am sitting behind an iPhone for 2 years now. That's true.
Well said.
Hey, Coach, here's another question from the chat.
Talk to me.
They want to know what your specialty is.
Offensive line. Now, I can coach any position on a football field, and I've coached them all, but I just love the offensive line. There's just something special about the big fellas up front. And just think about this. Without them, we can't play the game called football, and that's why I like coaching.
Speaking of offensive line, it brings this up because SWAC championship game is coming up a week from Saturday. Yeah, so Jackson State versus Southern. I know you've watched both of those teams. Mid-season, and I should have taken this a little more seriously. But when you pointed out mid-season, Jackson State was your number one offensive line. We've seen Jackson State maul people this year. They're having a great season. And they've been doing it up front. You called it out mid-season. You said Jackson State had the number one offensive line in Black college football at the higher FCS level. You've seen Southern up front. How do you see this matchup, especially a game in which these teams have played one time before? It was also in Jackson, I believe.
It was.
Yeah, so when you have a second chance to play somebody, and given what you've seen in the offensive lines, what can change? How will it change for Southern? What is Jackson State most likely to continue doing that they've had success doing today?
Real quickly, shout out to the big boys in the trenches all over the country, from Little League to the highest level. Now, answer your question. You want to make sure that your boys are healthy. Don't forget, I mean, they're taking hits every snap, every play of every game. It ain't the running backs, quarterbacks, or the DBs. I mean, these guys are getting physical every play. And so you want to make sure your boys are healthy. You want to make sure you have a two deep, because I could be the starting center and very first play something happen, and the next guy got to be ready to go. So you want to make sure you got your guys ready to play. Jackson State's hot right now. I think they made a I think Israel was roasting me in the chat about what was I thinking and everything like that. But Jackson State, they're hot. TC's doing a great job coaching those guys, man. But hey, take nothing away from Terrence Graves and his crew. I'm pretty sure he's gonna have those guys ready to play. I'm looking forward to be a great football game. Probably one of the better ones this season. It starts in the trenches. I think both teams run the ball very well. Jackson State has one of the best running backs in HBCU level. I know we just talked to a coach. He's got that one guy, Jada Byers, who's very good, you know, and I wish him the best of luck this weekend and his career. But what's his name? Irv Mulligan. That guy's real deal. You know, he's real deal. Yep. And if they don't come pick him up to play on Sunday, I got to scratch my head, because I mean he is real deal. Now Southern, I can't really say who they got in the backfield. I just know this: they got guys up front that block. They open holes. They keep the quarterbacks upright. They've gone through several different quarterbacks. They've had success, and so the game will come down to who plays better in the trenches. And right now, man, I don't really want to flip a coin and say who's what. I'm just gonna say this: Jackson State's looking real good right now. God, they're looking real good right now. I mean, they're everything: offense, defense, special teams, throwing the ball, running the ball. So, but not take nothing from Southern. I'm pretty sure they're gonna have something to say about that. Terrence Graves is doing a great job, but right now, Jackson State's looking really, really good.
Well, it'll be interesting. That game is in 2 weeks. Of course, Southern has the Bayou Classic coming up on Saturday. So it's the Bayou Classic week for Southern versus Grambling State. Have you ever been to that Classic, Coach?
I have not. And it's funny, when I was at Langston, I promise you that week, the Bayou Classic week, the campus would be empty. It'd be me and like 10 others, and everybody would be like, "Bro, you didn't go?" And I didn't go for some odd reason. I don't know why I never went. It was nothing personal, but I never went down there. But I've always heard about it. It's like the place to be. I mean, coaches, players, everybody like, "Bro, you ain't going?" I mean, that's like the place to be. So no, I've never been there. Hopefully before time's up, I'll get there.
Me
but,
too. I'd like to go.
I got Southern, brother. I got Southern. You know, I don't know what's going on with Mickey Joseph and the Grambling and the G Unit guys and everything like that, but I got Southern. Not beating them just out the stadium or running them throughout Louisiana. I got Southern.
Yeah, me too. I'm going with Terrence Graves. He's never lost the Bayou Classic, no matter what school he's coaching at. He's coached at both schools and won at both places. So, I mean, somehow the man knows how to get ready with an extra week for the Bayou Classic. So I think advantage Southern going into this contest. I don't know what it's going to be like. Also, this upcoming week, you've got Alabama A&M featuring your favorite quarterback. I say that jokingly because I know you love Alabama A&M's quarterback. And FAMU, two teams that put up over 40 points on Saturday. And I've already said first team to 42 is the team that's going to win on Saturday. But it's a final regular season game for FAMU. Alabama A&M comes in. Both teams are, what are they, Drew, 6-5? Both teams are 6-5? Yeah, somebody's going to be 7-5. Somebody's going to be 6-6.
And I call this a disappointment bowl.
Oh, don't do that.
Because both teams and both fan bases have to be disappointed with their season.
Yeah, but what I say, the taste of finishing a season with a victory, and especially for both of these teams, it'll probably be like a 2-game winning streak, will trump the disappointment of whatever didn't happen previously.
Yeah. I know 7-5, somebody will finish 7-5, somebody will finish 6-6. But let's be real, Brian. Neither one of these fan bases are going to be jumping up and down with the 7-5 season.
No.
And for the team that finishes 6-6, you don't want to be on social media the next day or the day after that. It's just that simple. We both know how significant this game is to these two fan bases. All right, I posed this morning. Who has had the more disappointing season? The 3 Ags out of these teams, the 3 Ag schools or Alabama State? Let me throw another one in. Wait
a minute. You're saying
Preview, Alabama A&M, Florida A&M. You got the 3 Ag schools.
Gotcha.
You got Alabama State, and you also have Alcorn State. Alcorn and Alabama State were the 2 teams predicted to win their respective divisions.
Mm-hmm.
We know what the expectations were for Florida A&M. Preview was a defending West champion, just like Florida A&M was the defending SWAC champion, and there were high expectations for Connell Maynard going into his last year.
Mm-hmm.
All 5 teams to their fan bases have been disappointments this year. Yeah. Although Alabama State, you can kind of justify going through 82 quarterbacks.
True.
I would guess, since you lumped in all of the Ag schools, I'm going to say individually, I'm going to say Alabama State, because
no, you could separate the Ag schools. I just lumped them in because it's just ironic that all 3 Ag schools are in this conversation.
You know what? Let me reevaluate that question for next Sunday, because that's a tough one. Let me wait to see how the season ends before I really dive into who's feeling bad or who's going.
Yeah, one season is already over. 2 seasons are already over.
They're looking for a new coach. Yeah.
One of them's looking for a coach.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Let me pump the brakes and let's see. Like for example, if Tuskegee beats Alabama State,
that moves them up the list.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. That would move them up the list considerably.
Hey, real quickly, what did Tuskegee do this year? How did they do this year?
They are 6-4, 7-4, something like that. I mean, that's another team. If we drop this disappointment list to the D2s, they would be on that list also. I mean, hell, Tuskegee
7-4, that's disappointing. 7-4 is disappointing
for Tuskegee. Yes,
yeah.
Yes. Tuskegee is. Oh my God, they're 5-5. Tuskegee is 5-5.
Last year they only won 2 because they got a new coach, right? Last year he won 2 and everybody was upset.
No. That was like 3 years ago when they had that losing season when it was 3-8.
Okay, what did they do last year? Because I thought they didn't win very well last year and everybody was upset, but it was like his first year.
Farasi, I got to learn you something, as the old folks would say. I got to learn you something on this one. Now, I know I work for the other school now, but I got to put back my alumni hat on for this one.
Mm-hmm.
There's a totally different mentality at Tuskegee than at any place else.
Yeah, I know they're like the winningest HBCU football program of all time. I know that.
And they expect that. They say fam, you folk brag different.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to football at Tuskegee, it's a whole different level. It's a whole other level right there. Fam, Tuskegee expects to be in the SIAC championship every year. There is no such thing as a rebuild a year. There is no such thing as a down year. Tuskegee, until they lost to Benedict, had never lost an SIAC championship game. Tuskegee expects to go down to Montgomery every year and beat Alabama State. They own the series record by almost 2-1 margin over Alabama State.
I was saying that because last year I didn't know how many wins. I was saying maybe if he only got 2 or 3 last year, he got 5. That shows improvement compared to some schools where you win 1 game a year and you're still okay. Hey, it is what it is.
8-3 is disappointing in Tuskegee.
Really?
Really?
Whoa. Okay.
8-3 is disappointing in Tuskegee.
Okay. So Tuskegee wants that bag every year.
Tuskegee wants that smoke every year, and most years they like this. They puffing because they taking this smoke. The last 2 years has not been so good.
All right. I don't know where I'm going with that game.
The game is Thursday, huh? That Thursday?
Thursday. Yes.
So we got games Thursday, Friday, Saturday this week coming up. Okay.
Tuskegee's had more rest.
Need to get down to Turkey Day, Coach.
What's up, brother?
Need to get down to Montgomery Thursday, Turkey Day. You need to get down there.
I ain't far from it. I'm about an hour and a half from Montgomery.
Exactly. Different kind of experience. Although it's not the same since it's been on campus. I liked it better when it was in Crampton Bowl, but that's just my personal opinion.
How far is Tuskegee from Alabama State? 45 minutes, I heard?
About a 40-minute ride from campus to campus.
40 minutes. Oh, okay. 40 minutes.
From campus to campus.
Okay. So we got Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Okay. Is Turkey Bowl, is that on TV?
Yeah. Yes. It's on one of the ESPN channels. I don't know if it's on regular
ESPN.
I don't know. I don't remember, but I know it's on one of the ESPN channels. I know.
I'll look it up.
Some years it's on ESPNU. Some years it's on ESPN Plus.
I'll look it up. So I got football Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
and I know Saturday is on NBC.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. While we got Coach on, let me make a quick mention here. Where is it at? I have my graphic here. We didn't talk. We mentioned the SWAC scores. I didn't mention the MEAC for a second, but obviously, the official 2024 MEAC champions are the South Carolina State Bulldogs. They received their official invitations to the Cricket Celebration Bowl as they punched their ticket, and then they went and punched Norfolk State in the mouth on Saturday by a score of 53-21. Yeah, it was pretty impressive performance. North Carolina Central, even missing, a dozen players, beat Delaware State 52-10. Central, I believe they had a freshman quarterback, Josh Jones, accounted for 4 touchdowns, 1 passing, 3 rushing in the victory. So North Carolina Central ends their season 8-3, 4-1 in MEAC play. And of course, we did find out the news that they missed receiving a bid to the FCS playoffs. Morgan State ends the season with a 35-21 record victory over Howard. Morgan State found some offense, Drew, or maybe Howard's defense just is that bad. One of the two.
I vote for B.
What do you say?
I vote B.
I was gonna say. I thought you said both can be true.
They both can be.
They can be.
At the same time.
Exactly. Morgan State finishes 6-6. Howard, who Howard had the preseason offensive and defensive player of the year. never really quite achieved whatever people thought they might. I didn't really think they would anyway. So I'm not really surprised at Howard's outcome. I guess Morgan's the team that's sort of been up and down all year, not really knowing which Morgan you were going to get. Morgan. Oh, say Howard had. Yeah, I forgot. Howard had some defenders suspended as well. So yeah, I forgot about that. So
hey, Brian, an appropriate comment. I'd rather be golfing. Says Howard is a golf school now. How ironic.
Golf and swimming, every Olympic sport, Howard just continues to be. But anyway, shout out to Howard. So South Carolina State
Howard is up 4-1 early in the MEAC volleyball championship.
Yeah, speaking of which, happening right now live on ESPNU, the number 1 seed Howard Lady Bison taking on the Delaware State Lady Hornets on ESPNU. Delaware State, who's the 3 seed, knocked off 2 seed Coppin State. 3-0 defeated them. Howard has been the standard. I don't know what Howard's standing, but Howard, I'll tell you again, I say this, I feel like every few months, somebody's got to figure out a way how to schedule a classic or some sort of event where you have Howard, Florida A&M, Jackson State, because y'all play pretty good volleyball at Jackson State. Even North Carolina A&T or a Coppin. Give me a couple of, how about
Alabama
this?
State.
Yeah, Alabama State. Give me an invitational where you can get like 4 to 5, 6 HBCU volleyball programs, and let's see them play. I mean, get them somewhere where they can play. I think it'd be great for the culture, and I think whatever city you can find a neutral city to play it in, I think it'd be great. Drew's got his hand. You got a location, Drew?
Anyway.
I wonder what you were about to say. I know of a location.
I know a place.
Yeah. What do you say? Howard went back to being Howard. Well, both things can be true. Okay. Well, Drew, let's kind of make some predictions here. Let's kind of wrap the show up. Coach, we haven't really had a chance to do too many predictions. I don't know. Are you able to do predictions, Drew? I have to remember you have a new role now. So are you able to do predictions?
Well, there are no SIEC matchups directly, so I can give my opinion for others.
You can prognosticate and predict.
Or I was gonna say, just text them to me and I'll see it.
That might work too.
If I was Drew, I bet you he would say.
Right. If I were Drew, I think he would say, yeah, there you go. That would work. Okay. Thursday, Turkey Day Classic. Tuskegee at Alabama State. Alabama State found a way to get a 6-9 win. I think their record is what's Alabama State's record right now? 6-5?
I think they are 6-5.
Yeah, 6-5. Tuskegee 5-5. Yeah. What's your?
Alabama State 6-5.
I have no thoughts on. I honestly I couldn't tell. I got to go with Tuskegee, Drew. I think if this is going to be a close ball game, hell, why not? Let me go with Tuskegee in this one. I'm going Tuskegee. Who are you going with?
Brian, I'm gonna be honest with you. Mm-hmm. I think both teams are mailing this one in.
Oh, wow.
But,
not the Turkey Day Classic. Mailing in. Shame on you, Drew.
And here's the thing, Brian. And I might be saying too much when I'm getting ready to say this. I don't think either one of the student athletes at these institutions currently really understand the cultural significance of the Turkey Day Classic. And it doesn't mean as much to them as players or some of the fans that it meant to a lot of the older heads. The people who were in school when I was in school and things like that. So it's when I say it's not the same, Ryan, it is not the same. You know, there's not that same feeling. You know, you planned your whole Thursday around what time did you have to get to Montgomery, and you talk about Thanksgiving dinner. Hell, you put the turkey in the fryer right out there in the parking lot, bro. That was Thanksgiving dinner. You know, so I just hope both teams don't mail us in, Brian. Turkey Day. My heart says Tuskegee. My head says Alabama State.
You care to weigh in on that, Coach?
I'm gonna go with Alabama State. Defense, they got the best defense I've seen out there in HBCU, and they run the ball very well. I don't know really much about the skis, so I ain't got nothing against them, but I'm gonna go with Bama State.
I'm just gonna say this: if there are more than 25 points combined between these two teams, I'm going to be shocked.
More than 25. So you're telling me, well, there won't be any ways to do this, but you're telling me if there was a line of, say, 38 to 41, you would say take the under, B. That's what
I will say it once again. If there are more than 25 points combined between these teams, I will be shocked.
Wow. Ugh. Woo. Okay. What time is that kickoff?
That's a good question.
If you pull up Doc's, if you get the email from Doc, I think he had it listed on his notes.
That kickoff is scheduled
afternoon, isn't it?
It's 3 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock
Okay.
Central.
All right, 3 o'clock Eastern, 2 Central, ESPN Plus.
Yes.
All right, Friday at 4 o'clock Eastern. I believe it's 4 o'clock Eastern. FAMU hosting Alabama A&M. This is the game that had to be postponed due to Hurricane Helene. So we have both teams coming off of wins. Obviously, you know, the home winning streak is no longer for Florida A&M. So this will be the first game since. I said this and I'll keep saying it. This game is going over 50, 60 points. I think first team to 40, first team to 42. I don't know whose defense is going to stop who. I don't see it happening. I think Alabama A&M's offense has looked pretty doggone good over the last 2-3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And FAMU's defense had not looked that great. And Alabama's A&M's defense is not that great. So turn on the faucet and let the points flow. I say FAMU by a touchdown, but again, first team to 42 wins. Drew, Coach, either one of you.
Look, Brian, the only thing I'm trying to figure out, and I said it this morning, will the attendance have 4 figures in it? And will that first number be a crooked number?
I'm going bold prediction. Over 10,000 people show up, Drew.
Where?
I'm Tallahassee.
Where?
I just said bold prediction.
Very bold. No, Brian. That's not a bold prediction. That's a stupid prediction.
This is FAMU, okay? You owe me a Diet Dr. Pepper when it turns out, when it comes up. That's all I'm gonna say.
Brian, I can't see it.
All right.
I cannot see it.
All right.
I think attendance will be less than 2,500.
Really? No. Come on.
You said how many?
Less than 2,500.
Oh,
I say more than
Drew,
that.
shame on you.
Really?
I'll take
This game was not originally scheduled. Number one.
Pizza bed, Drew. Pizza bed.
Students will not be there because they've already got their tickets and everything else. See, Brian, what would you rather be at?
I hear what you're saying, Drew.
Would I
watch 50,000 people at the Classic? I watched 50,000 people at the Classic. I watched 17,000 show up for Mississippi Valley State after the loss to Prairie View. More than 2,500 people are coming to Bragg Stadium on Friday, Drew.
After you done lost the Valley at home?
More than okay. Again, please, please, Lord, I can't wait for Wednesday. All right, more than 2,500 people are showing up to Bragg Stadium.
It definitely won't be 5,000, Brian.
Now you see what he just did, Coach. See what he did. He went from 2,500 to 5,000. Now
I'm going. I really
still saying more than 5,000 show up, Drew. You can't change the number again. Stop moving the goalposts.
It won't be that.
All right, Coach. What do you got? Who you got?
I got FAMU at home.
Right.
I'm not gonna put a score on it, but I'm gonna go with FAMU at home.
I appreciate that. Okay. On Saturday now. We've got 2 Division II playoff games. Actually, we got 2 Division II playoff games. We have the Bayou Classic, and then we have Tennessee State playing Montana. So let's go in order of game times. So I believe the 1 Eastern game times are the Division II games. Virginia Union against at Lenoir Ryan, Miles at Valdosta State. And I guess the question, I'll do this instead of asking for predictions. Will we get 1 win, 2 wins, or no wins from our 2 Division II teams on Saturday, Drew? What do you say?
I'm going with my bold prediction. 2 wins.
Yeah, I'm with Drew. I've got 2 wins too. Yeah.
I'm going with 2.
I'm gonna go 1. I'm gonna be the pessimist today. I'm gonna say 1. We're not gonna say which one. No. Out of respect for the fact that we have both coaches on, I'm not gonna say which one. We're just gonna say 1.
I'm going with both of them. I ride with both of them.
I hope I'm wrong.
I would ride with both of them coaches.
I hope I'm wrong. Oh, I would too.
Yeah.
I'm playing the odds here, but I hope I'm wrong.
I hope my coach get a job with either one of those coaches.
There you go. Okay, and then the Bayou Classic, I believe, is a 3 Eastern kickoff, 2 Central kickoff in New Orleans. Grambling, Southern. I've been on record. I'm going Southern. I'm not coming off of that at all. But I don't know, Drew, Coach, who you got?
You said Grambling, Southern?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I just said a second ago. I'm going with Southern.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. If Southern decides to play everybody all 4 quarters, Coach Graves hasn't lost one yet. I don't see him losing one, but I didn't see FAMU losing the Valley either. So
anything's possible now that we've seen
anything
that.
Is possible.
Is that what it is?
That's
now
what
anything is possible now that we've seen Valley beat FAMU at FAMU.
Look, anything is possible, man. Anything is possible. That's me hedging a bit.
Damn. Okay, and then the last game is Tennessee State traveling to take on Montana, the Grizzlies.
It'd be about 33 to kick off.
So the game is at 9:15 Central Time start. No, wait a minute. 10:30 Eastern. No, excuse me. 10:15 Eastern, 9:15 Central, and the actual local time that it kicks off will be 8:15 because they're in the Mountain Time Zone. So, just however you're planning on watching this game.
And this is at night?
At night.
Ooh, it's gonna be COLD.
Yes, yes, and it will. I think I watched a playoff game last year featuring Montana because it was on late, and I don't know why, but it was snowing. It was snow. It was cold. Yeah, but I don't know, man.
I got Montana. Home field advantage. That cold weather's gonna hurt Tennessee State. I got Montana.
Yeah, it's hard to.
It's hard to go
against. It's hard to go against the trend. The trend. I'm gonna go with Montana too. I hate to do it, but I'm gonna have to go Montana too. Drew, you going with us or you going Oppo?
Make this one unanimous. I think it's the cold is going to get in Tennessee State's head. Yeah, that's a different type of cold. It does get cold in Nashville, and it snows in Nashville. But when you go that far north this time of the year, it's a different type of cold.
Oh yeah,
that's all I'm gonna say. I don't, Brian. I don't know if Tennessee State got no parkas and cold weather gear.
Stop it.
No, because and I'm not trying to be funny, but you don't play in that type of weather on a normal to have that type of gear in house. Coach Norman knows what I'm talking about. You know, you got some hoodies, you got some hoodies and sweats, but you need Parker for that type of
them hoodies and sweats ain't gonna work, but that's it. Like you said, that's bone cold up there. I mean, you're gonna be like second quarter, you're gonna be like,
you know, you need, and I guarantee you, they do not have complimentary heaters on your sideline. You will have to rent your own or have your own heaters on the sideline.
That's how they get the advantage of you. They gonna make sure you stay cold. They gonna make sure you stay cold.
You know, and $5 at the hot water don't work right in the visiting locker room. I just one of the oldest tricks in the world.
Look,
either that or the heat.
This is supposed to be an NCAA. Wait a minute. This is supposed to be an NCAA playoff game. That's not supposed to. That's not supposed to be allowed to happen.
I'm not going to call the school out, but there was a school when I was coaching in the SIAC. You knew when you played them at home in January that you had to stop before you got to that school and go buy heaters for their locker room, and you couldn't buy too many because the gym was old, and if you plugged in too many of them, you was gonna trip the break in the locker room. That is the only time where no one ever took off. The players did not take off their warm-ups, bro. You know, normally they get the lather up, and then they go back in the locker room and take off the pants and everything. Matter of fact, you know, they don't even wear the pants anymore, like we did back in our day. That's the only time we actually were full warm-up. That's the only time as a coach at that point in time that I had coached in a hoodie, because you know that's when everybody used to dress up on the sideline. That's the first time I ever coached in a hoodie in basketball season.
All right. Well, all right. We'll see. Should be interesting day of football here coming up, as we have those are our games that we're looking ahead to. So,
BF, real quickly, when does Montana and Tennessee State play?
Again, that's a 10:15 Eastern, 9:15 Central, 8:15 Mountain Time, which is what time zone they will kick off at.
Okay.
So for you, it's a 9:15 game. For me, it's 10:15. I'll lucky if I even make it through the halftime.
Is that on TV? Is that on TV?
Oh yes, ESPN2. The game will be on ESPN2.
Okay. I'm gonna watch that one.
Yep.
That's Saturday.
Saturday, March or November 30th.
All right, I got it. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's gonna do it. Somehow, some comments that I have made seems to have. You know, I always seem to step in it with, you know, there's only one fan base that continues to give me ish. You know, I made one comment and now, you know, my timeline is blowing up. So shout out to my Jackson State fans. I was, you know, I didn't know I had touched a nerve the way I did. So
Brian, you pop it on the screen, strikes a nerve with Jackson State.
You know,
haven't you figured that out?
That's all right. We beat y'all in volleyball, damn it. That's right. Volleyball champions.
Speaking of volleyball, Brian, Delaware State is up 19-18 currently in the first set.
Ooh, now that would be an upset. I'm gonna go get on ESPN and watch that. That would be an upset now if that happens. So
yeah.
All right. We're going to be I don't know. We'll see what the week has in store. I'm just living rent-free in their head. That's all. That's all right. I can't wait to come to Jackson, though. Maybe I'll come for the SWAC championship game. Maybe I'll come. I don't know, Ed. No. I mean, I honestly, I do appreciate all of you all. I appreciate your interactions. I appreciate you guys watching the show. Shout out. Let me give a shout out, because these ladies are so kind to at me on X. So, you know, shout out to Whitley. Shout out to She Loves the. You know, I don't know, somehow I big fans of the show. So I appreciate them interacting. And again, congratulations to all of the teams that are moving forward and still playing football.
Hey, Bryan, at least you're not like somebody else's podcast when you talk about other schools. I'm gonna, you know who I'm talking about.
Oh, they cuss me too, so it just
Yeah, but they don't. At least you can still get credential.
Oh wow, see that was low. That was low. It was unnecessary, Drew. Let's close the show because that. Yeah, Drew, that was cold-blooded, man. That you didn't have to go there. That was all right, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure to check out the BCSN Pod Zone. If you missed the Carlos Brown show Saturday, if you missed Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab this morning, you can always catch those shows on the BCSN Pod Zone. Everywhere you listen to podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Apple and Google Podcast. We appreciate you. Feel free to, again, if you're on YouTube, go ahead and leave a super chat. We appreciate you. You can always donate to the Cash App. MyJBN, MyBCSN, $ MyJBN, MyBCSN. Or you can just hit the thumbs up button. That way it helps the algorithm and all the other stuff. And share the show. I'm a lover, not a hater, Coach Farasi. That's what I got to tell them. That's my new tagline now. I'm just going to get a shirt that says I'm a lover, not a hater. Even though they think I hate, I'm not a hater, Coach. I want to love everybody, Coach.
I hear you, brother. I hear you.
Some people just don't want me to love them. That's all. It's hard. It's hard when you champions, SWAC volleyball champions, take that spike. Spike. There you go. All right. That's it for tonight's show. Hey, we want to, on a serious note, we want to wish everybody and encourage everybody to have a safe Thanksgiving week. I know a lot of us are off. Schools are off. Thankfully, good to be educators. Shout out to all my teachers and educators. Enjoy your Thanksgiving break. Enjoy your Thanksgiving week. Lots of college basketball happening this week. This is a fun week if you're a college basketball fan. So we encourage you to immerse yourself in that, and then again, be ready for the week of Thanksgiving break, and then again the games that are coming. Again, thank you to Coach Sam Shade, and congratulations to Miles Golden Bears, and thank you to Dr. Alvin Parker, and congratulations to Virginia Union for joining us. We got to work on, maybe we can get Eddie George on one of these shows, and maybe we try to find a way. You haven't seen Eddie George on any of our platforms. Somebody can get Eddie George. Watch out for a Dr. Cavill's show on Tuesday.
I bet you could, Eddie George.
Yeah, I bet you could on the Black College Sports Network. So thank you again, everybody. Coach Farasi, always we appreciate you, and we thank you for all you give. And we'll look forward to watching some games together, and we'll talk more. And,
yes, sir.
We'll see you at Celebration Bowl. Coach Farasi is going to be joining us at Celebration Bowl. So if you ever want to meet Coach Farasi, come to the Celebration Bowl. You get a chance to see Coach Farasi. He'll be hanging out with the BCSN crew, giving that coaching perspective on the game. We're going to really try to get into the woods of this game and really start breaking down the SWAC championship game in a couple weeks, and then the potential matchup of South Carolina State versus who? Don't ask me who I'm rooting for, okay? Y'all, you just wait. Wait until December 15th, and I'll tell you who I'm rooting for on December 15th. What day is the game? Is the game on the 14th?
Yes.
14th.
Look, that's I did not know that it was after. So yeah, see, I didn't do that on purpose, but it just kind of worked out that way. All right, let's get out of here. For Coach Farasi Norman and A.D. Drew, I'm Bryan Fulford. Have a great Thanksgiving week. Congratulations on teams in the playoffs, going to the playoffs, and it's basketball season for everybody else going. Everybody else. All right. Peace out, everybody.
Travel light, everybody.
Oh, there's no fake love, Israel. I love you guys. You guys are fun. You guys make being in this space great. All right. Bye.
We holler.
Take care.
Where's the button at?